Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
Sean Bell.
Hello.
And returning, it's James Farley.
Hello.
How you feeling, James? All right?
I've got a massive headache, but it's fine.
Hey,
Good,
me too.
Good.
Oh.
Honestly, it's probably best if you just go, no, I'm feeling all right. Just don't. No one wants to hear that you've got a headache. We'd like to thank
people ask how you are, and you go like, "Well, actually, I've not been doing so great. Actually, all right, cool."
Yeah, exactly.
I like doing that because it always throws people off when you do that at work. Yeah. You know, when they say to you, "How's your weekend?" You say it's a bit rubbish, really, and then they don't know how to go with that. It's fun.
Well, I've said before, some of the people in my office that don't know the way people like me speak, when I go and say hello, I go, "All right." But they would always answer, "Yes, I am okay. How are you?" No, I'm not asked. I'm just saying, "All right." Yeah, I'm fine. Forget it. We'd like to thank our Patreon producers this month. They are Alan M. Nash, Aaron Patrick, Anthony Oakenson, Toby Henry, and Adam Capone. Full bloody Nels. Thank you for going full Nels. And you too could go full Nels by going to www.patreon.com/TCGS. But that's not the only way you can support us. There are various different tiers there. You could get a cheeky podcast once a month. You could get to see our Talks Over series a little bit earlier than the rest. It's all good. Get on there and, sign up because it keeps us afloat. Remember, if you don't, we'll fucking stop. We will stop, and your Wednesdays will get worse because of it. All right? That's your warning. James, week off last week. I assume you've got some notes on last week's show before we get to the main feedback?
Yeah, overall, I thought it was a good show overall. Obviously, it's usually,
Thank you.
Usually you do fine. I can't wait. I want to see Matt doing his yo-yo skills. I'm looking forward to that. Like, have you started practicing yet, Matt?
How's the breakdancing coming along? Cause...
Yeah, we've already agreed that I'm not doing that. But this is something that's very...
Well, who's agreed that?
when did we agree that?
No, this is a load of nonsense, right? Because I never said that I could breakdance. That didn't come from anything, right? You, Matt, have said that you were really good at yo-yo.
Wait, you didn't say it on the show, but privately, you told me you could breakdance.
Never said that.
You got awards for it and stuff.
Total lie. That is a complete lie.
No. You said you used to bring that bit of cardboard round to spin on your head.
Yeah, Sean, you were there, right?
Yeah.
So,
thanks. Honestly,
great
Sean,
acting,
what is the fucking matter with you?
Oh yeah, I was.
Anyway,
no, I was. I'll be honest. I was looking something up, but you carry on, and I'll come back to it in a minute.
What were you looking up, Sean?
Unbelievable, fucking hell.
It's not related.
Share with the class.
Right. Look, okay. All right. No, I'll do it. How has this never come up? The full Nelson is actually. It's like a martial arts move.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did everyone know this? And was I the only one who didn't know this?
Probably.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a wrestling move, but
I'm just amazed that no one's pointed it out to us, given our audience.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, but I don't. Who cares?
I was just double because I thought I saw it earlier today, and I was like, "Hang on, did I make that up?" And I was just double checking. Yeah, there's videos on on YouTube how to escape the full Nelson.
Well, I'm glad.
Patreon, isn't it?
That's exactly the reason why our little banter with James then just suddenly come to a screeching halt. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah,
right,
sorry.
James, you don't... That's fine. You've apologised. That's nice of you. Just say, James, you breakdancing, Matt, you yo-yoing. I'll be laughing. That's the Rezzed show. Done.
If you need any yo-yoing doing, I've had quite a successful tweet this week.
I know. I was quite impressed by that. It looked pretty good.
What happened?
Have you not? Oh, Dave, you've not seen it?
I've seen the tweet, the video that you sent us, but then you put "fuck Brexit" on it or something at the end.
Yeah.
What numbers were you doing then?
It's ended up at like 250 odd likes, which for me is pretty good going.
Yeah, that's good.
Matt, if you want to have a full on yo-yo off.
Yeah.
Rezzed.
Oh my God, this is it. Okay, there's no time for James breakdancing. Actually, we can do it at the same time.
There is. He can do it in the background.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm thinking you're one side of the stage doing yo-yoing, you're the other side of the stage doing yo-yoing, and James is in the middle breakdancing. And then, just not as a distract, just as entertainment around it. Like on Britain's Got Talent, where someone's got a pretty boring talent. So when it gets to the final, they're like, what the fuck do we do? So they just put dancers in the background and stuff. This is what it would be like.
Can we play It's Like That by Jason Evans and Rum DMC in the background?
Yes. Oh, yes, we can. Definitely. Yeah, we'll have that. Yeah. I'll do my move. Right, you do your move.
This is something we're definitely doing. at the end, you've both got 1 minute. Instead of going, oh, can Matt split the atom? Right? Yeah. You've both got 1 minute to do as many tricks as you possibly can, and then the audience have to vote on who wins. And I want the audience to just go mental screaming, shouting throughout the whole thing, so people walking past are just like, what's going on in there? And it's just two people yo-yoing and James spinning around on a piece of cardboard in the middle.
Also, if you do the tricks like one after another, you get like multipliers as well. You know, if you don't mess up, you know.
I mean, who's keeping up on that?
I mean, yeah.
Who's keeping score?
I mean, my multiplier would be easy to keep track of because at the moment I only know one trick. So
you've got to do that one over and over again. It's just, you know.
Oh my God, James, we're going to have a yo-yo off.
James, we'll focus on our yo-yoing, you focus on your breakdancing. That's, you know, don't worry about multipliers.
Matt, you know when they put the text up underneath the show on the poster just outside the venue and everything? They put like
yes.
the Computer Game Show Live, and then there's text. Do you have to submit that every time?
Yeah, I think I might have already done it. I can't remember.
Ah, fuck! See if you could change it to mention like the big yo-yo competition featuring the yo-yo off. Just put that right. It's no explanation.
I'll email Tom
just at
Champion.
The end of that paragraph, and just put featuring the yo-yo off. That's it. So people just thought, what the fuck?
Then Tom replies to Louis like, "Is this really like is this real?" And then we have to sort of go, "Well, kind of."
Yeah, sorry, was that a typo? Did you mean to say yo-yo, or was it? No, I meant yo-yo, Tom.
Love that. Get that done, Matt. James, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, one of the other things that who is it who writes the descriptions for the show?
Matt.
I mean, who do you think?
Well, I just want to know, why is it that whenever I'm off, you always put ill, but then put it in inverted commas?
Oh, I mean,
I didn't even read that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually read the description, so...
Well,
that was a test. That was a test, James. Well done, you passed.
Yeah, why? Why is it always in inverted commas?
I don't know. Must something wrong with the keyboard. It's
just
your big mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, it's like
surely not.
I've got this. I'm probably saying because I probably meant to press. Have you got any other feedback?
Are you scared of Matt? I mean, that came up last week.
I didn't cover that.
It's just laughable, isn't it?
Well, no, okay, James, right? But what if I came at you really hard?
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
No, what if I was coming really hard down like a hallway?
Okay, should we get off this
like
one?
The news shows again.
No, but sounds like you're scared.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, there was only one other small point, which was about the news.
Oh yeah.
Which right. I've got to address with you, Sean. Actually.
Oh, for God's sake! What?
I mean, do you? Okay, first of all, you know the story about the Xbox ports and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you read the whole story or just the headline?
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, I think you're about to tell me. Go on.
Because you missed a critical bit of the speculation from it.
Okay, go on.
Well, you know, you talked about like there's that diagnostic port on the back.
Yeah.
Or that what looks like a diagnostic port or something.
Yeah,
that was the speculation.
Yeah.
Well, there was the other piece of little information in there that people are like sort of discussing about, which I think is quite interesting, is whether it actually might be for external storage.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
I did read that. I just didn't think it was that interesting.
Of course it's interesting. It's like the whole thing with this next generation is like, you know, SSD drives, whether there's going to be enough storage space, how they're going to manage that.
Right.
And it could be like this. It could be through like, you know, plug-in drives and stuff.
I'm with Sean.
Also, it's not vital.
I mean, you can do that now, can't you? So...
But it's not vital, but it could have opened up some further conversation. You know, it's just, yeah.
I will say something, right? It was clear that Sean didn't read the full articles last week. And that's because it was a last-minute thing. He had to jump on the news and, you know, he doesn't usually do it. What's your excuse, James?
Rubbish. That happens very rarely. It's like generally...
I don't know.
Generally...
Every week, very rarely?
No, that's because you always ask ridiculous questions.
What, can you give us a story? What's the
quote? Can you read out the quote?
Yeah.
Is there any other speculation between what this random port could be?
Yeah.
There's no way
but no, sometimes you just ask stuff like, you know, can you tell us what, you know, this person said? It's like, well, no, because I haven't... It's not in the article.
Can you tell what this person said? What the person in the news story that you're reading about?
Can you read past the headline on Eurogamer?
Look, listen. I'm not a mind reader. I can't always tell what question you're going to ask.
You're not even an article reader, James.
I've got notes for every single one of these news stories, and most of the time it comes off and you don't ask awkward questions. But occasionally you do, and it's not in my notes, and then I have to go back to the original
I think
article.
my point is, when Juan lives in a glass house. Maybe they should put the stone down and not chuck it about. Right. Should we get onto the main feedback, Matt? What did people think of the show last week? They all loved it, did they?
Well, actually, we got a feedback a couple of weeks ago, but because James was ill last week, I couldn't read it out, so we read it now. It's from Chris Atwood. Right, so earlier in last week's show, so the week before, Matt called out James for changing his opinion on the BT/Stadia thing, although to be fair, it was actually down to James not having done his homework when picking the news, which is a whole other issue entirely. Later on in the show... He did a proper Sean. Yeah. Later on in the show, someone wrote in explaining there's a Quality Street binge. I had to re-listen to the discussion several times to believe my ears. At 1:59,
the Quality Street what?
The Quality Street binge.
Binge?
Binge.
Okay.
Someone say binge again.
As in eating, At 1:59,
okay, yeah, sure.
At 1:59:28, Dave says, they're the worst ones, aren't they? And James can be heard saying, they're not as good as the roses or whatever. Then at 1:59:45, Dave says roses are the worst, to which everyone agrees. Even James mumbles quite assent to the opinion. What do you have to say for yourself, James?
Okay, it's very simple. You've got to pick your battles, haven't you? At that stage, it was late in the evening, and I just thought I can't be asked to go through with this. So
you couldn't be asked to defend roses.
It's roses are the worst. It's
okay,
they're not. Obviously, I like them. I think they're fine.
But they are the worst.
They are the worst. They're absolutely the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know what your taste in chocolate is. Disgusting, James. To be quite honest with you, I've learned a lot about you today, and I tell you what, don't like it. Right?
Makes me sick. Obviously, last week we discussed my my to-do list. This will hopefully be the last we talk about the situation. Stephen Cheney.
It has gone on for too long.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Stephen Cheney, morning all. Matt's multiple lists. I was interested to hear Matt talking about the number of to-do lists he has in his life. About 18 months ago, I was diagnosed as having an anxiety disorder, having finally admitted to myself that I had a problem and plucked up the courage to seek professional help. One of the ways my anxiety would manifest was that I compiled multiple to-do lists for every aspect of my life, which I created in an attempt to bring in some order to my disordered mind. It was only when a mental health professional pointed out that all this did was heap anxiety on top of anxiety, because the lists were never cleared, that I stopped doing it. I now have a single to-do list in work which gets cleared daily. I feel an awful lot better than I did, because I don't have all these lists preying on my mind. The point I'm trying to make is, Matt, are you alright, mate? Do you need to talk to someone? No, and probably yes, but I do like a list.
I mean,
well,
I saw a lot.
Resolved then.
Matt thinks he's got a problem, but he's going to do fuck all about it. That's how
I don't have a. I've got lots of problems.
He's just going to add it to the list.
Got lots of problems, but I mean,
would you say it's quite far down on the list of problems? Yeah.
Exactly, it really is. It's not top 10.
How many? I was going to do that joke again because you all missed it, but I'll leave it.
No, go on, Dave. You do it, and we'll all stay silent. Go on.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
How many problems do you have, Matt?
99.
Do you have?
Nice.
Is a list one?
Dalton DiMartino.
Absolute banger.
No, I will. Can I just continue with this list stuff? Right, just quick, right? Because I need to make something aware.
I've got more list feedback, but go on.
Okay, we'll get to that. But I went onto the Discord and they were all talking about lists. Now, what's wrong with making lists? Why is everyone having a go at Matt for making lists? No one was having a go at Matt for making lists. That wasn't the point. The point was he made a list and then on a specific date deleted, got rid of that list and then still did the list. That's the bit I don't know.
I mean, no, I'm not doing the list because I may just forget things. I may play games that are later down the line, but I'm not we've been over this, fucking hell.
See what I mean?
No,
see what I mean?
The list is the key. It's just sure I remember all the things I want to play. When the list is gone...
And then you delete them and then play them anyway.
Well,
that's
no,
the bit.
I'm very unlikely to play Outer Worlds, but if I'm bored and I'm like, I'll play Outer Worlds.
Well, then why don't you just keep the list?
No, because it'll be that will give me anxiety if I'm like, fucking hell, I've got 25 games on list, 25 games on list.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the piece that confuses all of us, right? Okay, it's not the fact that he makes lists. Whatever you do to get by.
It's like a nice little clear out. I mean, over Christmas I cleared out my entire loft. I felt a lot better, and it's very
clear
similar.
out. All right, go on. Let's
Dalton
get on with the rest of the
Martino, love the show. Thank you, Dalton. On the subject of keeping a list of your backlog, I use an app called My Backlog on Android. I currently have 253 games across current gen, previous gen, and PC. Man, don't feel bad for keeping a backlog list. I mean, that is exactly why I delete my lists every on January 1st, because otherwise I would have hundreds, and I don't want that. I just want I do as much as I can in the year. Whatever I don't do, you know what, it's too late now, it's gone. I've got more things to do in the future. Athene Allen, this list stuff from Matt, it's a starting trend of a serial killer. And then another tweet. I'll just watch war documentaries and true crime isn't helping. Also, Matt should split the atom at Rezzed.
I do love this. This is like, I mean, all these listeners like psychoanalyzing Matt as well. It's fascinating.
I know.
Yeah, I had a couple of defenders, but you know what? I'll do me. You guys do you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
What?
What? James cannot understand the concept of just someone being themselves and what gets them by.
You doing what? Anyway, Toby Henry at Issue Boy. Hey Matt, let me know if you want a loan on my Yo-Yo DVD training collection. I believe splitting the atom features in all of them. Question for the computer game show: which one of these bad boys is most like Matt? Now, Toby's attached a picture. Hopefully, you guys have all got the doc open. He says, "I'm going for international yo-yo superstar Pat Mitchell."
I think Matt's most like Ouch. The
world famous,
world famous yo-yo personality.
It's definitely Ouch.
I'm definitely
it's Ouch.
That's Matt. Rowan at Curious on Twitter. I can donate a Henry's Viper to Matt. It will need a new string, but I can include a video of me splitting the atom on a USB if that helps. There's no need to show off, Rowan. Like, I get what you're doing now. Oh, you might need a string. Oh, sorry, did my video of me doing a trick on USB somehow manage to find its way to you? I'm so sorry. I'm so clumsy.
Matt, say yes and put it on Twitter. Like, honestly, that's what I do. Because there's no way he looks cool doing that. And stick it on Twitter.
I mean, doing sick yo tricks is pretty cool. I mean, look at Sean's tweet.
I was going to say, I think I look pretty cool doing mine. Just saying.
Sean.
Dave, just because you can't walk the dog.
No, I know I did, right? Because Gary Dutton said something like, "I've never seen you look so alpha," which I just read as like, "I've never seen you do something like physically competent before."
He's one to talk, isn't he? Right.
Sean, you should post a video of you like next week of you like fixing a car or something with oil on your face.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then saying "bosh."
Yeah, or like draining your radiator. I don't know.
Bell's Garage. Get it on that new Twitch show.
Me just hitting an engine with a hammer for 2 hours.
Oh, bloody love motors, me.
Just having to roll up every 15 minutes.
Anyway, I bought Henry's Viper this week.
Oh, you bought it? Yes, get in.
I bought it in my original green colour as well, because I thought...
Hang on. How much did this cost you? Because my yo-yo cost me £5.
I wasn't going to go with some basic bitch shit, whatever you got, Sean. I'm going for Henry's Viper. I want to go for basically what I had before, and I even went for the old colour. I don't know why I bought green when I was younger, but I did, and I thought I'll get green again.
How much did you spend, Matt? It's
like £22 or something on Amazon.
Okay.
Oh, do you know? I was going to say minimum 50 quid.
No. I bought that and I got it like tonight actually, and I had a few goes.
Do you still use your skateboard?
Amazing.
Which one?
The electric one.
Well, no, I do when it's a half term because I have to do drop offs.
When it's half term.
No, because I have to drop off Elodie and pick her up in the evening, so unfortunately I can't commute. I wish I could commute because I can't run to work anymore, and I can't use a skateboard either. So, unfortunately, Jill got a new job, which means I have to. So, but when it's half term, Jill has a car, so I can then commute. So I can.
But it just sounded like you were going to say because Mum won't let me use it on school nights. Like, I think
you say, all the other kids are off, so you head down the park with them.
I'm really gutted I have to drive every day now because I miss that baby. But
sure. So you've got it as the yo-yo arrived.
Yeah, it arrived tonight. I've had a couple of goes.
Have you tried to do the Split the Atom.
Yeah, I can do like 2/3 of it, and the last bit is someone posted a video of the trick in the Discord, and I was like, wow, this looks way more complicated than I remember. But yeah, I've got 2/3 of it, and I only had like half an hour go, so I'm not too worried. But now I've got to have a 1 minute repertoire, haven't I? So it's a little bit different now.
Yeah. You got to have a whole set, mate. A whole 1 minute set.
I mean,
this is going to be so good.
It's going to be a pretty baller move if I start with that. I mean, imagine the repertoire if I start with a really complicated trick.
That's true. You got to work your way up. Yeah. How many could you do back in the day, Matt? Because obviously I'm starting from nothing, and I tried to learn
already. Go
on. I tried to learn around the corner, which turns out it's a fucking nightmare. I can't get that right at all. But rocking the cradles.
I had these. In fact, I did see on Amazon. I had these like red and blue books, and they were sort of. And I could do most. I mean, I don't know. I could do a bunch, but
would you build up to Split the Atom, or will you try it straight away?
Yeah.
Will you build up? Will you start with Walk the Dog?
What
then
you
do
mean?
The cradle
Rezzed,
one?
You mean?
Yeah, Rezzed. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not telling it. I'm not telling Sean.
All right. Yeah. Good point.
Imagine
good point.
that.
Yeah, Split the Atom's got to be the finisher.
Imagine if you said to a band, "Oh yeah, you get to tell us your whole set list for tonight." No, you don't do that. You got to tease the crowd, surprise them. I'm not going to tell my opponent what I'm going to do.
No, you're right.
Do you know what I might do if I'm like getting to the end of my set and it's going pretty badly? Just fucking smash the yo-yo through one of the glass panels at the side of the
Okay, right. We've caused so many security alerts at these expos that we cannot start putting that out even as a joke.
Good point.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, tonight I got home. I was like, oh yeah, let's look on YouTube. Well, I went to Discord and watched that video. And I was like, oh, I'm 37. I'm in my room with the same yo-yo I had when I was younger, doing his yo-yo tricks.
Some of the YouTube tutorials
childish, isn't it, Matt? Now get on your electric skateboard and
that's hardly a child's toy.
During half term.
It's hardly a child's toy. It goes 22 mile an hour. And there's a grey area.
I don't know.
Policing.
Matt, do you find the YouTube video tutorials for yo-yo tricks like some of them are really helpful, and then others are just like, yeah, so you just do this and then put it behind your arm and then flick it, and then that's it. That's how you do the trick.
I mean, I've only watched that one video about how to
I've always found that with keepy uppies as well, because I've never been able to do decent keepy uppies. Never been able to do it.
Well,
the amount
okay,
of Dave,
I've Rezzed. That's what you're doing in your minute. There we go.
That's the difference, Matt. No, do you not hear? I'm saying I can't do that, whereas you were like, yeah, I can split the atom, mate.
You've got 2 months to learn,
I've never been able to do it. And whenever you watch a video, it's just like, yeah, drop the ball down and, kick it up. No, I know what to do. I just can't do it. Give me some advice, please.
Not very good at it. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I should say just quickly to acknowledge that it's been really cool. Like a couple of listeners have been tweeting at us saying they've either got out an old yo-yo they had or they've decided to buy one as a result of me and Matt talking about it. So that's
we really are
cool.
The coolest podcast, aren't we? Yeah, Dave, you got 2 months to do keeping up yourself for a minute.
I can't do keepy uppies. I'm not claiming to do keepy. Yeah, mate. But he wants to learn, and he's proved that he can.
No, Dave, that's it. We're all doing a minute of something. Me and Sean have got ours covered. James is breakdancing. You're doing keep me uppies.
I mean, I can, but I'm going to kick the ball once, and then that'll be it.
Just go into
not
the
exactly
crowd.
The most entertaining thing.
Well, you've got a minute to entertain the crowd, so you better work on it.
Are you trying to get one over on me here, Matt?
No,
I'm
we're all going to do a
confused.
minute of something, and now we have chosen you're doing...
I mean, yeah, but then shouldn't we be picking something that's going to be more entertaining than me just kicking a ball once and going, oh, it's gone down?
Okay, rather than just that, do that stuff they do, got blokes doing C centres where they're flicking up on their neck, they're doing, all that.
No, you see, again, you're missing the point here, Matt, aren't you? You're not quite understanding what we need. Okay, if you can't do keepy uppies, do that thing where they flick it up onto their neck. Now, if I can't do keepy uppies, Matt, the chances of me flicking it onto my neck is not going to work. I
guess
either,
what I'm saying is
it?
you've got 2 months to perfect keepy uppies, and then you've got,
But, mate, I've had 35 years to perfect it and I've got nowhere. You don't think I don't try it?
You've
Every
got
time I got a
in
football
2
in my
weeks.
hand,
You're really going to get your finger out your ass.
I am up for doing something. I could do so. Yeah, I'm up for that. That is not... that's not entertaining.
I mean, look at James. He's going to do breakdancing. You don't moan at him.
He was fucking the local champion. He told us about his medals.
Isn't that true,
There's
Sean?
a difference.
Wait, what about the medals?
He did it again.
Never mind. He's done it
He
twice.
did it again. That's the last time.
Bit of feedback.
Okay, Gabby Peartree. The chat on last week's pod about saves you'd be gutted to lose. Before Life is Strange 2 Episode 5 came out, we got a PS4 Pro, and somehow my husband thought he'd transferred my save across. You know where this is going. So wiped everything off the old console. Turned out we actually hadn't. It was lost forever. First time I genuinely cried as an adult about games. I've been waiting so long for episode 5 and couldn't wait to end the story. I've forgiven him, I think, maybe, nearly. I mean...
Oh, that sucks.
Leave him. Leave him.
I mean, just... Yeah, Alan is it. I mean, I think I said last week, I think I'm pretty much beyond, like, getting devastated if I lost stuck a save, because most things are backed up or I can do it again. But I think that Life is Strange will be a massive one, because so much of that is predicated on the decisions you made. And... I don't know. I mean, if I'd lost them all just for episode 5, I'm like, fucking hell.
There's an easy solution to this.
Don't play games?
Sit him down, you give him a list of all your decisions you made, and say, get me back to episode 5.
You do it.
Here's the decisions that you've got to make. You go through it, get me back to episode 5, and then, you know, we might have a future together.
James, didn't you replay all The Walking Dead on a different console?
I did, yeah. I played all of it, like every episode.
So, I mean, how did that sort of ruin it, or did it not feel the same? Because I presume you were making different decisions because you weren't remembering the original ones?
No, I tried to make the same decisions I made the first time round, and even ones which I regretted the first time round, I still made the same ones because I wanted to get the same kind of experience.
I don't think he did. If I remember correctly, he brought this up before and he changed one of his decisions, something about Ben... I distinctly remember going, if you were so confident with your decisions, why did you change it the second time round?
I didn't.
Okay.
I'm pretty certain.
I'm pretty sure we did that on the podcast. I can find it.
I know you're now going to go through and listen to every single one.
Right.
And
you know
next
me.
Week
You know what I do.
Capone Adam, I've got a great idea. As well as going offline for E3, how about David also has to go offline for the upcoming PS5 reveal event later this month, just to make up for Sony free E3? That is a good idea, to be fair.
I like this idea.
So I've been thinking about this, right? I'm bang up for doing this if we think it's the right thing to do. There's got to be a precedent. So I totally get it that without Sony being at E3, having like me miss like the big Sony thing is quite a good idea, and I think it could work quite well. Do I then miss every major thing? Because Nintendo are going to do something at E3, right? They're going to do a Direct. Have they confirmed that?
Well, no, but they definitely will.
Of course they will. Yeah.
Okay, right. And Microsoft are going to do that. So then what happens next year?
Well, I mean, I think it's just about the new consoles, really.
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, this is a one-off, isn't it? Really, this is not going to happen probably for a while.
I think there needs to be some sort of precedent that every major. This is what this was my thinking.
In about 7 years' time, we'll do it again.
No. This is what I'm thinking, right? That every like major conference from one of the main 3 gets missed throughout that year, and then we do one of those shows. But the problem is that a lot of the Microsoft ones are shit. So it's kind of like, you know, if we make you miss one of those, it doesn't... But what I'm saying is that if you all agree that this would be a good idea for me to miss a Sony one, then I'm bang up for doing that. That's no problem. Should we do that?
I think it'd be a good idea.
I think it would be good to do that. In terms of like doing it for others, I mean, that would be a shame because we won't do like talks over on the directs. And I think this is obviously a special year with the new console announcements.
Well, you could still do the talks over thing, can't you?
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
I mean, the only problem is how do we do it in terms of, you know, talking to you about it? Like, are we going to wait until the next
I think it's got to be a separate show because you're obviously going to...
It'd have to be straight after, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, not straight after. I mean, I don't mind waiting a couple of days. It's really not the end of the world, but...
yeah, but you're more likely to see stuff, aren't you, in that time?
Well, not if I just come off the internet for a couple of days. That'd be all right.
Well, that's true, yeah.
It'd be fine. But we've just got to... I reckon it should be an additional show, completely separate. And we'll do that.
Yeah, no, I want to. We just got to work out the logistics. Like, is this like only for like $200 patrons or $500 patrons? I'm trying to work out what's best in terms of value.
I would say, we don't even know if there's going to be one at the end of the month, do we?
I think it is nailed on that there'll be one in February. I think I'll be so surprised if there isn't one.
Why is that? Because the podcast
because they did February last time. It feels like they are going to do a big event. But that was years
ago, Matt.
They've also just registered the trademarks as well, like in Europe.
I mean, they are going to do something before E3. Okay. They are. You know they are. But also because E3, we will see new games. They will be doing something for E3.
Yeah, no, I agree they'll do it before E3, but we don't necessarily know it'll be February, will it?
Yeah, there's a lot of time between now.
Yeah, it just seems like everyone seems to just be assuming February, especially given what he did last time. Yeah, so if it feels like people seem to believe it, February is a thing, but we'll see.
When you say people, you mean you as well, don't you? You were confident then, and now you're scaling back.
No, I'm definitely confident, but like that's just a given thing, especially given what I did with PS4. You know.
Okay. I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
things change.
Yeah, I know things change, but you know, event in Feb, well, E3 or no E3, but they'll probably just state of play and then out in November.
I like the fact that everyone, just because they know where Adam Capone works, everyone just assumed he had some inside knowledge and he was tweeting it out. I've got a feeling, you know, I love Capone. I've got a feeling that if his company did know, they ain't telling him. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Feb, but if you told me that it was going to be 2 months' time, it wouldn't surprise me either. So it's not like we'll wait. But once it's announced, we'll firm up some plans, and I'm happy to miss that. It's fine.
When they did the PS4 reveal, how much did they reveal? Was it like everything?
No, the PS4 reveal. I don't remember the PS4
reveal at that point. Was just the technical stuff, and that's why they've actually taken it out, and they've now done that in Wired. Whereas that first reveal, that was on Mark Cerny talking about teraflops, etc. But now that first reveal, they've got away all the boring stuff, or the technical stuff. Now we know the name, obviously, so it'll be hopefully the physical console games other than the sort of trailers we've seen, the third-party trailers.
I mean, who knows? None of us know, but it could be interesting. So, we'll keep our eye out and we'll let you know what we're doing.
Cool. John English, hi guys, I need to send this stern warning. Dave is 100% correct in worrying about his balls post-op. I had the snip last year and it all went well. I recovered in about a day or so, but 3 days later my 18-month-old son booted me in the nuts, and long story short, I got a post-op infection that turned super nasty. Took about 3 months to recover. Take care.
Oh man.
Ouch. I'll tell you this, right? I when I saw this tweet, I was thinking the evolution of my podcasts have been something. Like, you could follow the comments about going out and getting hammered and doing this and doing that, to child advice that we've had, parenting advice, to getting a vasectomy. That's been... If you follow the listener contributions, you could tell that they've grown old with us.
A couple of years, there'll be questions about pensions and stuff. It'll just be...
It'll be getting progressively more and more right wing as we go along. It's
Turns out Brexit was a good idea.
Scar Bunny at Scar Bunny on Twitter. Hang on, is Dave an actual proper architect? I always assumed he was an architectural technologist like all the best people. What else have I had wrong all this time?
No, I'm not officially an architect. Like, I haven't got letters after my name.
So you're not an architect? So what you're saying is you're laid?
Yeah, no, I'm not technically... Sorry?
You're laid.
Well, I mean, I didn't like... I mean, I'm doing that job, but I haven't got the qualification, like, with the letters after my name.
Is that your job title, though?
My job title is project runner.
Oh, so it's not architect?
No.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay, should we...
I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, okay.
I want you to apologise.
For what?
Yeah, but if last week when we were having that chat and David said, "Oh well, I'm a project runner," the next question would be, "Well, what's that?"
a project runner?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's basically like an architect. Okay.
What? And then we could have a lovely little discussion about it.
So I understand why.
Matt, are you just angry that I've got a proper job and I'm not just dicking about all day and thinking that I'm doing something special? Oh, I put a tweet out and it got 12 retweets. That's your job.
That's not. I don't do social.
Do social. You do fuck all. Oh, today we've got a buffet. How have you? You got a buffet, have you? Is that what you're doing? I'm working, mate. Can you stop?
Yeah, but we can do both, Dave. We're great at multitasking.
Oh, can you?
Buffet and cartoons. We can do both. Right.
And memes.
And me. Well, okay, Graham out of 1983. We're going to end on this one. Just finished a pod. Dave, does it pain you being talked over all the time? Sean and Matt are pretty bad for this throughout this episode. Good luck.
This is interesting.
Look forward to the James v. May. That's a typo, you idiot. James v. May battle again next week.
This is
anyway, but I mean, if you want any more, I don't know.
I mean, the obvious gag is what Matt goes for, but let's.
I do apologize.
This is an interesting one last week because I was getting quite pissed off with them talking over me last week, really pissed off about it. And then I listened to the backup recording rather than the edited one, and what the backup recording is everything that Matt can hear. And oh my god, the Discord was being a shit last week
because I was shit for so long now.
It has been crap for a while. Basically, they couldn't hear me half the time, so that's why it sounded like they were talking over me. And I sort of highlighted that to Matt like the day before, and you cut most of that stuff out. There were a few moments where I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?" And you know the bit where I was singing "Look Summer Haze." Yeah. It cut out the bit where I'm going, and I was far away through Discord.
That's what it sounded like.
That's why you were all going, what the fuck is that song? And then you, at one point, Sean, you go, what? Why are you just singing that bit? And I was like, because that's like the main chorus bit. Surely you can get it from that. But obviously it was cutting out after the Luke Summer Haze bit. So yeah, it made no sense. So that explains that one last week. It wasn't Matt and Sean's fault. It was Discord.
Yeah. Didn't you say you remembered the lyrics to that Luke Summer Haze thing in the week?
No.
Oh, didn't you? I thought you did.
No, I didn't.
Oh, weird. Okay, that's fine.
Next.
That's it for follow-up.
Good.
So if you want to leave us feedback, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter, or you can email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com.
Cool. Time for the news.
There has been news. There's been a bunch of news, actually, although it's mostly all like sales figures stuff. But I still think there's some interesting stories in there as to what's going on. So the first one is that the Switch has passed like 50 million sales milestone. And I mean, apparently it's like 52.48 million. It's like, but this isn't sold, this is shipped. So it's a bit different, but it's still, that's a lot.
Is it a lot?
And yeah, and the sales have been like year on year, it's like 22.5%. It's been increasing all the time. So
of course, the headline was all it sold more than the SNES, right?
Yeah, it's eclipsed that.
I wish I'd stopped doing that.
Also,
because it sounds cool, but then you're like, yeah, but the audience is that much bigger.
The audience is that much bigger. They've released 2 console types that they'll be including in both of these. What I'm saying is that it's like it's not really comparable. It's fine. We don't need to bring in other. I suppose you need something to compare it to, I guess.
Well, you can compare it to the competition, can't you? And like they've been comparing it to the Xbox One, which Microsoft stopped like saying how many of those they've sold, but the analysts that Eurogamer have talked to seem to think that it's overtaken the Xbox One.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. It's it's just a fantastic little console, and it hasn't got a sort of competing alternative, is it? Whereas the Xbox One, it's straight up against the PS4. If you want a Nintendo console, you want a Nintendo console. It's a little bit different,
and of course there isn't a dedicated handheld that's still kicking. I mean, the Vita technically still exists, and you can get. I've mentioned this before. A lot of games, like especially indie stuff that people are playing on the Switch, quite a lot of it was actually coming out on the Vita as well for a while. But that's pretty much dead. So as you say, just no real competition. I mean, like my only competition versus the Switch is my iPad, really. And obviously, fuck's sake, Mara, what are you doing?
It is a cursed show tonight.
I swear to God, right, as soon as we can get rid of this fucking laminate flooring, it will change my life. Get on the you're allowed on the sofa. Most dogs aren't allowed that. One.
You should be thankful.
Is that going to be a new feature? Sean argues with something that can't understand him every week.
Oh god, yeah. But yeah, obviously, what's interesting about this is that we've all been like, oh, what are we getting, a Switch, 1.5 or whatever? But probably not. If this keeps shifting, why it's going to put the brakes on whatever's next, right?
Sean, don't.
They also confirmed this week that there won't be a new Switch.
Yeah, don't just stop preempting the news. It's
you're ruining it. You're ruining it.
You're ruining it. I've got stories coming. It's just stop preempting it.
It wasn't in the doc, James. How am I supposed to know what you're doing?
It is in the doc. You said this. For fuck's sake.
Right. Okay. What's the next news story, James?
Okay, so anyway, that's good. Obviously, yeah. I think we're pleased about that. But then also there was some figures have gone around for Nintendo's mobile games and how much they've made, and it's like $1 billion in revenue so far.
That's great, but I'm really surprised you didn't take it do the next story as about what Matt just said. Why didn't you just go straight
I know,
into
imagine
that?
that.
I'm doing that on
Imagine.
purpose because I've got an order here that I'm going through. And
it's a bad one. It's a bad
it's
order.
not. It's a narrative. It's a good narrative
let
because
him
you've got,
do
first of all,
You've got to learn to do
you've
news
got,
on the
like,
fly, mate. Could you imagine that? Like him working for the BBC and them going, "We've got some breaking news." Not yet, but this one's really important. Don't worry about it. I've got
This
the
isn't
order. I've got
breaking
the
news.
order.
I built up like a narrative here that we were going to go
Oh, that's
through.
what you
and
do,
then
is
you've
it?
just
You build
screwed
up
it
a narrative. Go on. Tell us about these
Where am I
apps.
going now? What am I
Well,
doing?
you tell us you got the narrative.
Okay, so anyway, they've reached $1 billion in revenue. I mean, I guess we can all guess what is the number one earner for them.
Dr. Mario World?
So actually, not. It's the lowest one. $4.8 million that's made. Whereas it's called Fire Emblem has made $656 million.
Wow.
Which is
hell.
How much of that
which
is
is quite
Matt?
a lot.
Just 56 million, I think. Right, so Dr. Mario World, how was that like a free? Is that like a freemium game? How,
Yeah,
was that,
yeah, that's how it was. Yeah, it was like
so that was free to download, but there was, I guess, in-app purchases, right?
yeah.
Next on the list is Super Mario Run. That was like famously everyone kicked off because it's £8 or something premium.
Yeah,
thing,
it was a you could download it, free to start, and then you had to pay like an unlock, amount, not subscription, just like you pay one off and then it unlocked the rest of the game, and people weren't happy about that because they're idiots.
Yeah.
Could you imagine working at Nintendo and calling Shigeru Miyamoto into the offices and going, when you were saying that, free to play stuff is awful and that we should be avoiding it and stuff, but we've just made $1 billion from this. What have you got to say for yourself? We really fucked
We
it.
just made $1 billion from this, and it's tat, but people have totally
I was
gone
going to
for
say,
it for some
that's
reason.
Miyamoto's comeback, isn't it? It's like, but the games aren't actually good, are they?
I'm like, are they not good? Are they not good? Oh, let's burn this $1 billion then, shall we? Shall we just
Do you not want
burn
the pay
it?
rise then?
But this is the weird thing, though, also, because the most popular download of all of these was Super Mario Run. It had 244 million of the downloads. Fire Emblem only counted for 4% of them, but still made like 656.
Jesus.
So that's people are paying a lot of money, Matt, like on this game.
A lot of money
they've
to
spent a lot of
see
cash.
those sexy characters. That's
Yeah.
No. Characters are different combat traits,
that's
Dave.
exactly what it is. That's exactly what you were saying to us while you were spending money on it. Yeah.
You wouldn't understand.
All right, sure.
You wouldn't.
But then also they're also adding a $9.50 monthly subscription to Fire Emblem as well to get more cash from people. I mean, I'm not going to read unless you want me to. I'm not going to read through what you get, but it's basically sounds really like pay to win. Like it's even got this thing called React, where you can like just go back and do whatever do the turn again, and sort of change it to whatever you want. Even like as far as the game over screen, you can still go back and keep going backwards again. It's totally pointless. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
people on the subreddit are not happy. It is on fire right now. I mean, like, I love the subreddit. I went there for the tactics. I stayed for the memes, and
Tactics?
that's basically what. That's and mostly the tactics. So, but yeah, basically the subreddit is on fire with people basically just ripping a new one, making all the memes, joking about it. So, I mean, if the hardcore aren't happy about it, that's that can't be good.
Yeah, because presumably they're the ones that are paying.
Another subscription. I mean, because basically, if you're mega into it now, I mean, like Fire Emblem was always like really generous, really, with like all the free stuff. There's always like tons of quests, tons of like free like summons you could do to get new characters all the time. Always a new event where you got one free summon now at the start of every event. But so there's been lots of good free stuff, but now it's suddenly the heart. If you really want to get into it, really want to be at the top or do really well and get new characters and stuff, a lot of this cool stuff will be behind this paywall. So it's not good. But so they did subscription for Animal Crossing
Mario,
game,
right?
Yeah, Mario Kart and Animal Crossing.
There was a subscription for that.
yeah, they added a subscription thing for Animal Crossing as well.
Yeah, so there's subscriptions for Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, and now Fire Emblem. I mean, they've also been making bank. I mean, Animal Crossing is the second highest earner on this list, 131 million. So they've obviously realised, like free to download instead of the £8 download of Super Mario Run, free to download with a sub, in-app purchases, and then you're gonna
Is
make bank.
Matomi on that list or whatever?
No, well, because was there anything you could buy in that? I don't remember. Like with
I'm sure there
actual
was.
money.
Yeah.
Is there? Not that I remember.
All right, I thought those tickets to play those stupid mini games. But
Maybe,
Thing
yeah.
is, though,
Yeah.
like for Super Mario Run, could you not have like a subscription for that, like with new worlds and all that kind of thing every month or something?
I think they could, but they'd have to make the whole game free to play, I reckon.
Yep. Okay, all right, next story.
Okay, well, thanks to the success of the Switch doing so well and also all this money, Nintendo have no plans for a new Switch in 2020.
If only we spoke about this when we were talking about it.
Yeah, no, so this is how it was going to go. I was going to build up to that. That was the plan, but then you ruined it. It's ruined.
Okay, next news story.
Well, either way, they're going to focus on the Switch Lite instead. But although they did say, this was during an investor presentation or whatever, but then they said the same thing last year as well. Then they revealed the Lite and also the updated base model, so maybe they're talking bullshit.
Maybe.
I mean, last year there was like loads of talk on podcasts and other gaming things, and just gamers generally about the whole idea of a Switch Pro, and it sounds cool. Maybe a better screen, better battery, but I don't know. I mean. As they released a Lite, and that's obviously selling incredibly well and looks great, and it's like a bit of it's a bit cheap in terms of actually buying it. But I don't know. I don't think they even need a Switch Pro.
I think this would be a very bad year to.
It would be nice, but
there's definitely some things that I'd like to see, like in terms of a Pro and a better running model. I'm not that much interested in, but just tidying things up a little bit, like the game card slot and the kickstand and just the general appearance of the thing, I think could use with a brush up. But there's no point doing all that, is there, if you're not going to do the specs as well? So really, no, you're right. But I do wish mine was in a little bit of a better state, because at the moment it is getting a little bit used, to say the least. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
I mean, I sort of hate myself for saying it, but when they release a new Switch and it just has Bluetooth audio, I'll be like, well, maybe it's it's shit, because they could just update that on firmware, but they're clearly not going to. But that'd be a big seller for the new one. Oh, this has got Bluetooth audio.
I
finally.
think it'd be better if they didn't do this year anyway, for a Pro, because they're going. Then they really would be going up against PS5 and the new Xbox and everything.
Yeah, just leave it a little bit. Just leave it a little bit. Give those consoles some room to breathe, and then start introducing that stuff. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what they prioritise over the current Switch. Like what their main focus is going to be in improving that thing. I seriously think there's some hardware improvements that could be really nice. I just don't know if mine's going to last until they decide to release a Pro, which would be annoying if I have to go out and buy another sort of bog standard Switch.
If you got another one, would you get a Lite, because that'd be better for
absolutely
Harry?
Not. No, there's no way I would get a Lite. We use it on the TV all the time, and in fact, actually, that's the main way we play that console. I'm more likely to get a TV only.
But do you not play that with a Pro controller?
Sorry?
Do you not play that on TV with a Pro controller?
You can't do that, can you, with a Lite? As in, the Lite really is just like an individual's machine. You can't play it as a group, really.
What are you thinking?
No, I just forgot you couldn't dock it, which is a ridiculous.
Yeah. That's the main thing. That I would get a Switch Lite without question straight away if you could dock it. But that one omission from it has completely taken it out of what I'm interested in. Because I don't need to keep sliding off those Joy-Cons. That's not a main way that we play on that console. But having a big solid device like that and just slipping it into a dock it's stupid that it doesn't go on a TV. I will never understand it, other than we want a better reason for you to spend more money on the more expensive Switch. That's the only reason why I think that they've done that, and it's infuriating. Because I bet it is just a software thing, right? It's got to be.
Well, no, obviously they'll need the HDMI port.
Yeah, it hasn't got the hardware inside it, where they removed it.
Yeah.
What's the hardware inside it?
I can't remember, didn't they? Yeah, but when they had a look inside a Switch, they were like, yeah, there is a bit missing.
There's no
processes the
video
HDMI
out
signal
or whatever on it,
And that's really that expensive, do you reckon? Do you reckon that thing's
Possibly
really
not,
expensive?
I mean, there was also the fact that so when it's docked, it runs at different clock speeds and stuff. So there might be different internals that don't have to do that in the Switch Lite. But
maybe.
I don't know.
I guess I just to have a more solid Switch that isn't, because it does feel a bit flimsy, right?
Because Asher's one it feels so nice, like the Switch Lite. Honestly, if I could do that, I'd rather have one like that as well, because it just feels much more solid and nicer to hold as well. It's and also the size is better as well. It actually feels more.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Joy-Cons for what they are. I've been using them again this week for various different games. I do like the Joy-Cons, not as a replacement for a normal pad, don't get me wrong, but as this sort of quick 10-minute go or something, a bit of snippet clips here and there, or I think they're great. But
When they work.
for the console itself, I'd rather just have a Switch Lite that I could plug into the telly. So I want my cake and I want to eat it. All right, but unfortunately there is no cake, so I'm not going to eat any. All right, that's next news story.
Okay, so Fallen Order has done quite well, and it's beaten EA's expectations because it sold over like 8 million. They reckon it's probably going to get to 10. Do you want to hear what Andrew Wilson's got to say about it?
Who's Andrew Wilson?
Somebody at EA. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great detail.
So he said here, Respawn delivered an expertly crafted high-quality experience with outstanding gameplay that thrilled players, made many of the Game of the Year lists, and, most importantly, sold beyond our projections for the quarter. I added that bit, but no, okay.
Right.
But yeah, no, he was quite pleased, and then he went on to say, our portfolio of Star Wars games across all platforms has never been stronger. I don't know where he's got that idea from. They've got 2 games. I mean, have they got any more on mobile as well? Presumably, I don't know.
You went high pitch then.
Do they do the?
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, do they do the card battler one on mobile? That does really well. But
yeah, and I mean, I thought it was a very good game. I think Sean and Matt's reaction to the reviews is a little bit.
I said it was a very good game too. I just had issues with it.
Yeah, but then you started. What are your issues?
Well, that
you kill bugs.
No, I thought that was quite fun. I thought it was a good game, but it wasn't as good as I'd hoped it would be. But I'm excited for a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It wasn't as good as I hoped it would be.
It did a lot of the things I needed from a Star Wars game. I do think there were elements of it that were downright sloppy compared to what we're used to from Respawn.
Yeah.
But this is why it's just so fucking mental that EA are incapable of releasing more than 3 Star Wars games, because even when they put one out that I don't love, I still fucking bought it and spent 30 hours on it because it's fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, true.
It's a license to print money. And they just seem to... I don't know.
I mean, I'll get onto it later, but have you played Battlefront 2 recently?
I haven't.
Right, okay. We need to talk. We'll talk later.
Okay, no, I'm very keen to be sold on that. So
I will. There's one thing that I'll tell you, and then you'll go and download it after this. But go on.
Cool. Good.
In terms of this, I mean, like the fact that this passed EA's expectations is, that's either it generally did sell amazing, or they actually tried to be quite modest about what they'd hoped it would sell. So.
Well, this is it. You can almost, because they've been so rubbish at actually putting Star Wars games out. It's almost like this came out and they were like, "Oh, what people really like Star Wars."
They're like, it's not that. They're shocked that it's not a games as a service game that hasn't done really well.
Yeah,
because they were convinced.
No multiplayer component.
Either. Yeah,
no in-game transactions.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, EA were convinced that Anthem was the future. That's how things were going to go, and they seem to be shocked by this. But
yeah.
I mean,
and to be fair, all right, I can make digs at the game and stuff, but we often get questions about, we had one, was it last week or the week before? Like, do we think that single player campaigns are dead? And it's like, clearly not. Like, they just have to be good.
Yeah, or have Star Wars in them,
or have Star Wars.
In them. And the sequels are going to be great. I'm looking forward to that already.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I that's the thing that I'm interested in. Okay, they've got a half decent game there. As I said, it was more of a 7-8 than a 9-10. But I think the next one could be something special. But who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
I mean, it's EA, so they'll probably just cancel the next one.
Good point.
Well, do you want to hear what they've got this year coming? Because this is the other thing he said. So apparently they've got 4 new Spice titles.
Spice Girls
titles.
games.
Oh, sweet.
They've got 4 new Spice Girls games.
Okay.
Go on.
And that includes FIFA and Madden, obviously. And then we've got 4 titles from smaller developers. And then also another 4 which draw from the breadth of EA's IP. So that's Need for Speed and some things like that, I guess.
Yeah.
I could be
Plants
something
vs.
different.
Zombies.
What if they drop something like, I don't know. Who cares? Right, go on.
I mean,
do you remember when they did it? Do you know? Remember when they did? What's that fucking game? Mirror's Edge 2.
Yeah.
And apparently it was like, did you play it, Sean?
I didn't, and it is a fascinating one, isn't it? Because for years we were screaming for it, and then we were like, "Oh man, just imagine, like the first one was amazing, but just take out the combat." like completely
most of the game.
Yeah, and then they were just like, "Oh, yeah, we're doing a new one, and it's got more combat in it."
Oh, right, you're putting it on them. I heard it was crap, but I never played it.
It's got its fans. Like some people do really like it. I gather it was mostly because the first one. It's like every level was like there were slightly different routes you could take, but it was it was A to B, and it was all designed that the routes like you could take were all sort of designed. Whereas Mirror's Edge 2, there was a lot of open world stuff, so they had to then build environments that worked in multiple directions because there's a lot of backtracking, and it made it a lot more difficult to read, and people didn't go on with it so much.
Right, gotcha.
But yeah, like we all wanted that game for so long, and then it came out and just wasn't that good.
Oh,
Speaking of bringing games back, do you think one of those IP is going to be Skate? Yes or no?
No.
I mean, at this point, nah. I think they are just. I've stopped hoping. It's too painful. I
could just see that game coming out. They're like, Skate. We're doing a new Skate, and E3, everyone's like, oh my god, they're doing it, Megaton, I can't believe it. And then it comes out and no one's bothered about it, and it sells 10 copies.
Or it'll be like they did with Command & Conquer, and it's a mobile game, like somehow. Somehow they've done it as a mobile game. That wouldn't
surprise me. I mean, so it was EA Black Box who used to make Skate, wasn't it? And what do they work? I think they work on like Need for Speed stuff now or something. I can't remember.
Well, in which case they might be desperate to get out. So like, please, we'll make a Skate game.
Cool. Right, next story.
Okay, so the next one is about Stadia, because there's been a lot of complaints.
Why do you say it like that every time?
You're like he's getting in trouble.
Like he's about to get shouted at.
Stadia.
Yeah, because
it's like when like the head teacher's reading out a bunch of names and they clearly don't like one of the kids. Do you know what I mean? They say their name in a slightly different way, and you know they hate them.
Stadia Johnson.
yeah, go on.
So anyway, Stadia's subreddit is very active, apparently, and it's getting increasingly irritated by the lack of news from Google, particularly like about the game releases. So, because apparently it's been 40 days since anything has come from Google, like about what's going on. These are the chief complaints. So where are the 120 games that were supposed to come out? Where is Stadia's iOS app? Where is family sharing? Where is the free base service? Where is the 4K browser support? And recently, though, Google have now just added like Guilt, the one game that they had that was an exclusive to the Stadia Pro subscription for February. So along with Metro Exodus, that's good. But that's been it, really. But then Google have come out now and clarified what's gone on. And so of the 120 games, Google basically said, we leave it up to the publishers to make the announcement about their IP games and which platforms they appear on. They said, just as we'll do with the exclusive content coming to Stadia. And they said, we're excited to share more about some of the exclusive games coming to Stadia soon. And that was it.
That's fair enough. When I saw the headline, I thought it was like, it's up for the fucking... When it says something like, we're leaving it to developers to announce games for our console. And I thought, what? They're just like saying, look, so it's down to them if they want to be on the fucking thing. Don't ask us, right? But it's more just... we're not going to announce games for people. They want to control that marketing. So that's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah, although they need to build up some momentum for this, because the worst thing about this is that, the free memberships are running out soon. Like, by February, they'll be done. And the whole thing now will be, are people going to resubscribe, and actually pay for this? Yeah. Beyond the thing. I mean, the Destiny player base is apparently down to about 4,000 people, active.
Fucking hell.
Which is not great, because, on PS4 and on PC
it's
and
hundreds
everything.
Of thousands, isn't it?
Yeah,
I agree with you. They do need to do something, but what they can't do is announce other people's games for them, can they?
No, but then, I mean...
Well, they sort of could. They could. This is what, Well,
no one else does that.
Because that's what Microsoft do, that, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
They do a sizzle
but I'm
reel
assuming
or
on the agreement with the developers themselves.
Yeah.
They're not just going to announce, we've got a game coming out called this.
Exactly,
what I mean?
But then,
but the point
they
is,
should be building momentum for this and building some excitement. But they've done nothing. At all.
Like Sony or Nintendo or Microsoft would do an event or a stream or whatever, and be like, "Look, here is a showcase of the cool stuff that is coming out. Not necessarily games that they're making. It's a lot of it's third party
I suppose it's the relationship they need to build with the developers themselves, then, for them to allow to do that. Because when you're saying that these 120 games that they've quoted, they're not all exclusive, are they?
No, none of them are. Well, they said there'll still be a couple of timed exclusives, later. So that, as I said the other week, it's like that's how they're just going to delay like Xbox One and PS4 games.
Yeah, it's those timed exclusive ones that they need to sort of tie up and announce, because, you know, if you've got a multi-platform one and Google Stadia come up to you and say, can we announce your game for Google Stadia? You might go, well, hold on, let's see if Microsoft, Nintendo or Sony want to do that first, yeah? And then we'll get back to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is Google. They've got like tons of money. They could easily do this.
I know, I don't know. Okay, if they've got nothing to announce, then what can they do? I'm not defending them. I think it's terrible. I mean,
what I find really interesting about this is that Google have launched this in the same way they do most of their products, in the sense of it's a beta. Yeah, they've released it in kind of like beta form, but I don't think that works in the games industry, because
you're talking about their software products. Like, they don't release their phones in beta or like their Google Home speakers in beta.
No, I guess that's true. Well, I don't know actually. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah, they
also,
do.
Releasing stuff in the games industry in beta has been pretty successful in the past. To be fair, I think
but not like an entire platform though.
No. They've gone wrong is that they've sold hardware to deal with it, and you know, if this was all free on browsers, you know,
that'd be fine.
Then no one would be moaning. But because they've asked for money for hardware, then
it's that, and it's also they've not been clear at all about like things like, you know, subscriptions and all that kind of stuff, and they're not offering a compelling reason why you should be on this at all.
I mean, I would argue that they have been clear about subscriptions, but everyone thought it was different, and they haven't communicated that it isn't what people originally thought. Everyone, even now, boilers people think, oh, Stadia's like Netflix for games, isn't it? Or it's like a subscription service. You pay one monthly fee and you get loads of games for free. Like, you know, and Google never said it was. That was just what people had hoped it would be and assumed it would be.
Yeah, how much of that is Google's fault for that message being wrong from the start? Mainly from gaming press and gaming fans, you know what I mean? Their main form of marketing can't be, okay, come to Google Stadia, but just to let you know, you have to buy the games like individually. I don't know, the messaging's... I don't know how they could message it. I mean, I must admit the advertising was absolutely shocking. It didn't say anything about the fucking thing, but
that's probably it, though, isn't it? Because when they first announced this was coming, maybe they just didn't communicate enough information to begin with, and people's imaginations went wild, you know, in the ideas of like, it's got... Because the thing is, the industry is moving towards these things like Game Pass and towards these subscription services. So it's not a crazy leap to think if Google's entering this, they must be doing something like that. And yeah, they didn't counter that at all.
Okay.
But yeah. Next story is that Sony... I can't pronounce anything tonight. I don't know what is going on. But there's been a Sony survey asking about remote play and like how you would like remote play to happen. And so they've been saying, like, you know, would you like to be able to use it on like Switch, on like Apple TV, Android TV and stuff like that? So
who's going to say no to that, though? What weird survey. Do you know what I mean?
I know, it is odd, isn't it?
If it's worded like that, would you like to use this on Switch? Who's going to go, no, I would not like to use it on Switch?
No, thank you.
Yes,
well, they're probably looking at, like, you know, how many people say yes to each machine or whatever to see, like, which ones are more popular or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, like, do you own a Switch?
I suppose it's... Sorry, go on.
Surely that's the question. Do you own a Switch? You go, well, a lot of these people own a Switch. Maybe that's a good place to put platform. Look, this rumour has been building for ages that apps like this will be available or there's the potential for it to be available on Switch. We all think it's a good idea. I'm not surprised that Sony are looking into that market as well. Makes total sense to me. You know, the rumours were that Microsoft were looking into that market, so Sony should be looking into it as well. There's, I don't think there's anything surprising here.
Yeah, after all the rumours about Game Pass, it'd be funny if Sony managed to get remote play on Switch first.
It would be, but what's the offer going to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah. If it's just remote play to PS4, that's not great. I mean, it's like you can already do that on a bunch of devices, and it's like, you know,
but it'd be a good start.
It's not.
Yeah, but the point is that if Microsoft get Game Pass on the Switch, the fact that you've got all those games there, just that you can just stream using the xCloud, that's far more appealing than just remote playing to your PS4, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It would have to be. They'd have to do like PlayStation Now and stuff like that onto there, which is obviously also not that appealing. I mean, Sony's biggest problem is software. They're not that great at it. I mean, if you look, the PS4, like the PS4 interface, I like because it's quite simple and everything. But it hasn't changed, has it, since it first came out? Like barely at all.
No,
there's
there are some
hardly any
improvements
evolution
that
to
could
it.
be made there, but yeah, no, you're right. It does the job, doesn't it? So
Yeah,
maybe they felt that it didn't need to. Okay,
last story is the Wonderful 101 has got a Kickstarter. And, I mean, this is to get the game on Switch and on other platforms. They had a goal of $37,000 and they've already smashed that. Last time I checked, it was about 120. What's it at now?
It's $345,000.
Wow.
Okay, it's just
Wow.
insane. It's like it's going up like $10,000 a second kind of thing. It's ridiculous. But,
Okay.
it's...
all right.
Yeah.
Well, clearly I got the wrong end of the stick about this game then, because when it first came out and I saw the people talking about it, that's right, the people, I thought... This just sounds like one of those games that's a little bit different, a little bit wacky, and people are jumping on. You know what I mean? Because it'd usually be followed up by some people complaining about certain instances about it, and then people really come into its defence out of nowhere, and no, it is really good what you talk about, you don't know what you talk about, and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, so I just wrote the game off as one of those sort of games. But really, I mean, if it's got that much love and support to be able to smash a Kickstarter like this, then maybe I was wrong. You played this, right, Sean?
I was going to say, do you want a surprising heel turn?
Go on.
So I do really like this game, and I'm glad it's getting a port, because it's one of those, a lot of people skipped it because it's on the Wii U, classic scenario. Two things. Well, one, why are they doing a Kickstarter?
Yeah, I've got questions about that.
Yeah,
this game's out in
because-
April, so the game's clearly already done.
So they've pretty much already done it. Like the Kickstarter video is very funny, but they joke about, but how are we going to get the money to do it? Porting's really expensive. Well, you're only asking for 37 grand.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's not. And yeah, so yeah, there's that, and like they've just taken a shitload of money from Tencent. They've announced a partnership with them to get a load of money. Apparently, it won't affect their creativity or anything. It's gonna they still can do exactly what they want, but apparently they're going to be looking at maybe doing some publishing themselves, as well as developing.
Well, this is what this is, isn't it? That's what it says in the Kickstarter. The reason why they're doing it is because they want to do their first sort of publishing project. Maybe this.
But then why are they asking us to pay up for it beforehand if they've just had a shit?
Why does anyone use Kickstarter? I fucking hate that system. Go on.
Sorry, James, go on.
I mean, I'm sure Tencent could probably afford $40,000.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, so they mentioned like, this is us doing self-publishing. Apparently, it's been confirmed they're working in conjunction with Dangan Entertainment, who recently have been in an absolute shitstorm for completely dicking about their clients, and also their CEO had to step down because of sexual harassment allegations and various other things. So, what the fuck? It's bizarre.
I mean, are they just using it for marketing?
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
Like that it sounds like an alternative, because that announcement Kickstarter, it sends people crazy, and I bet people talk about it more because it's on Kickstarter. If they'd have just announced a port, I bet it wouldn't have done anything. And they can go, this absolutely smashed its target and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, becomes
and it worked
a new
on
story.
me because I was like, actually, maybe this game is good.
So I've never played this game.
Is.
So what is this game? I've seen this video on Kickstarter, and there's some gameplay videos, I think. So what is? I've heard of it, but I've never played it. So what?
So can I just ask you a question before you start, Sean? Yeah. There's no connection between this and Beautiful Joe, is there? At all?
No.
But they do look a bit similar.
Beautiful Joe's
similar
wasn't
aesthetic,
he in
obviously.
it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a character or a DLC character. I'm sure I've seen Beautiful Joe in that
It might
game.
have been, yeah. It's that similar, that henshin aesthetic, your sort of Japanese sort of action show deal. It's really cool because it's a platinum game, but has that sort of top-down view. So yes, it's typical sort of platinum action game stuff, but you've got as you run around, there's like civilians, and you just recruit them as you go, and they all they become superheroes, and they're all part of. So you're controlling one person, but everyone else is always following you, and you basically use them. So on the Wii U, you would draw shapes on the touchscreen, and that would like create. So you draw like a circle, and that creates a fist out of all these people that are following you. They all sort of join together and make a fist, and that becomes a weapon. Or you can draw a straight line that makes a sword, and there's all these different weapons, and so you can like. How did it work? I think so. You can create them so that you use them as a weapon that you fight with for like 10 seconds or whatever. But you can also just create a weapon and like just send it off to fight on its own. So there'd be like these really cool boss fights where you're just making shitloads of swords and firing them off, and then having to create a fist for something else. And they all have like different damage types and stuff that are effective against different things. And it's cool. It's really cool. It's quite funny. I really like the way it looks, and yeah, I'm really happy to see that it's getting ported. The circumstances around it are really strange.
Yeah, marketing campaign.
Yeah, this is the start of. Obviously, they're doing more because they've also from this. I think it was this morning or maybe late last night. They the whole like Platinum 4 thing was trending on Twitter. Have you guys seen this? Where basically, if you go to 4.platinumgames.com. It just had the big number 4, and now since this Kickstarter's been unveiled, the first of those 4 panels has now lit up, and it obviously shows panel 1 is now viewed, the Wonderful 101. Obviously, a lot of people are drawing comparisons between this and Capcom 5 they did in like 2002 or 2003, where they then like went on to show off 5 Capcom games, obviously. So maybe now people are thinking, okay, so what are the other 3 Platinum games that they're going to unveil? So it's clearly a bit of a campaign.
Vanquish 2. This is my prediction. Vanquish 2, Bayonetta, and something else.
Yeah, so Bayonetta how many Bayonetta games have there been? 3?
We're on.
2.
This will be the third one. Will be coming.
Yeah, so they've already obviously confirmed that third one, haven't they?
No?
Yeah, so that's
have they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
ages
that.
ago.
I didn't know they confirmed that. When did they do that?
A couple of E3s ago. It's like they haven't really said much about it since then. But yeah,
they did like. They had like a logo.
Oh, right, it was a logo thing, was it? Yeah. Did it have her laughing in the background? Because that sounds like, those things, it's like Bayonetta 2 comes up and then, and then people going nuts and shit, and you're like, all right, calm down.
Can't remember what it did, but yeah, it was very much just, it wasn't even a logo really, was it? It was just
text.
Confirmed.
So, it was just black text on a white background, just said Bayonetta's coming.
Times New Roman.
but I'm thinking, because that game's already been announced, that won't be part of this Platinum Games 4.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what the others are.
I think it will be. Why not? I think it could be. But yeah, no, I've got a feeling Vanquish 2's coming, I genuinely do.
I hope so.
People love that game.
That got remastered on Steam, didn't it?
They're bringing it out on... Is it coming to Xbox One this month?
Yeah, it's like a double pack with...
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe.
There's going to be another Astral Chain as well, because that did really well.
Yeah,
that sold a
that
lot.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, cool. I still feel bad about burning out on that, because it's clearly good. I just couldn't be doing with the hell dimension bits.
It was good, I enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, then, we done?
Yep.
Right, let's get Matt out of the way. Matt, you've been playing Sekiro, I assume.
Yeah, and I
don't need to talk about it.
I played more of... Journey to Savage Planet with you, didn't we, Dave? We played it one more.
Yeah, not as much as we should have.
No,
not as much as we should have.
We're busy boys, but no, it's still excellent.
Well, I mean, you were just streaming. You didn't need to stream twice this week, did you? Well, you could have streamed once, and we could have got some more Savage. I'll tell you why I'm angry at you, Matt. Right? That last session we had last week was so fucking good that I was itching to play more, and you were like, "Oh no, I've got to stream." I was just like, can we just come on? Let's get back to it.
But then I said, okay, let's do Friday or Saturday. But you were busy. I was busy on Sunday.
Well, no, I was out, right? I was out and about and doing things, right? You chose to do streaming for what sort of views are you getting for that?
30 or 40?
Yeah, well, fake 40. There's quite a few more people listen to this show, and they want to hear about our adventures on Journey to the Savage Planet.
They heard it last week. It's a great game.
That's a good point. And Sean, did you play anymore?
I've not, no.
Oh, mate. James.
No, I will do.
Did you see our video that we put out on YouTube? Well, Matt put together on YouTube of the footage with us talking about it.
No.
Oh, you would love this game. I'm telling you, you would love this game. You need to get one of your friends, one of our old crew, to get this and just play through it with them because you'd love it. It's
How many players is it? Is it only 2 player?
Yeah,
it's 2 player. It's 2 player, yeah, unfortunately, but it's only like 20 quid, is it?
25 quid.
It's quite a cheap one, but yeah, so we just continued, didn't we, Matt? And
yeah,
I got to the point, we started off and we were kind of starting to get a little bit frustrated with a few elements. Like we had to go and find certain type of material, and we couldn't find it, and it was getting a little bit frustrating. But then we found it, and then started exploring more and finding new things, and just honestly, everything just is so exciting about that game. Standing in the middle of a hill and looking down at about 14 things that you want to go and look at, and thinking, where do we start? And then as we were getting close to that tower, suddenly we were in a completely different area.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Which was just like, what the fuck is going on here? It's just, honestly, it's brilliant. And last week, I didn't make the complaint, but after our first session, I thought it's a bit frustrating that when you die, you can't just spawn back to where your teammate is. You spawn back in the spaceship, right? And then you've got to warp to a certain area, and then you've got to find them again. But that, I knew I was instantly wrong about that when we were in that boss battle with that massive crab thing, Matt.
Yeah.
Because we were fighting away, I died, Matt was like getting attacked on his own, and I'm going, okay, I'm back in the javelin, 1 sec, I'm back in the javelin, and then I like warped to near where he was. And what was amazing is that I could see like the area attacks from this crab in the distance. So it's still all happening. Like I can watch him struggling to hold on so I could get back there and help him out and take this boss down. But I could see the effects of this boss kicking off with him like from a while away. And I'm like, I'm nearly there.
Yeah.
We finally got there. And he only had a couple more shots left and we took him down. And mate, I am really loving that game. The other point that I failed to mention last week is that the soundtrack is just fantastic. It does this wonderful thing of having a sort of general theme tune, and that general theme tune being very, very basic. And they adapt it and do things to it in different situations. So you've got like the main menu music is the sort of standard theme tune, but then it's got a different sort of composition around it while you're fighting like loads of enemies. And it really, when you're playing with headphones in, it like really gets to you and you think, fuck yeah, this is fucking great.
Yeah, the music's brilliant. Even on the title screen, the music's fantastic.
It really is. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it as well, because it'd suck if one of us was disliking this
we
game.
definitely need to play again like a couple of times this week if we can, because it's just I think
I want to smash through it.
I think we played like 3 hours or so. I think we're like 20% through, so it's not going to be a long game, but I'm happy about that. It's also cool now that we've got more materials. Also, we've crafted more weapons and tools. Now we are seeing a bit more of like the Metroidvania vibe, whereby we can go to places we couldn't go before. Now we've got the when
that was
we
incredible.
had lava section, and you're like, how do you get there? I'm like, well, we got the grappling hooks now. We can go through this area that's inaccessible before, and that's really cool.
So what happened when we got to a point where we were looking for a material that we didn't have? We said, well, let's go back to the first area that you start in and just see if we've missed something, like if there's some materials to mine over there. And we went, okay, fine. So we went back there, and then suddenly you're noticing stuff that you see later on down in the game, like these blue walls that you can attach these things to and use your grappling hook on, which is a puzzle in itself. It's not really a puzzle, but it is kind of like, that looks different. You must be able to do something with that. And then you find something nearby, and you're like, if I do that and then chuck that there, what happens? And it works, and you're like, oh, fucking hell, brilliant. Then you go back to the first area, and those blue walls are like everywhere. You're like, oh my God, there's so many other places we could go to. And what was really crazy is that you start off in this tiny little area that's snowy, and it just looks like the initial circle of space that you walk out before you get to the main open world bit. You know, like just this tiny little area. We went back there, and it's just full of these like caves and different places with different things in that you would never have been able to access unless you unlocked a bunch of stuff. And then
there's
went
still
back
stuff
there.
over there now that I can't get to. I assume we're going to get like a bigger jetpack or a double jump, because there's some bits over there where there's like a huge cave and I can't quite make the jump. So I think there's going to be lots of places we can keep going back to once we keep upgrading our arsenal and the tools we've got.
It's just exciting, isn't it? I mean, that's the feeling that I'm putting towards that game. Okay, the combat is not the best I've ever played. Visuals are cracking, but there's certainly prettier games out there. But it's just that excitement of standing somewhere, seeing a bunch of shit on the screen, and not knowing where to go first. Like, it's that, I want to go this way, but I don't want to go too far down this way because there was that other tunnel there that I really wanted to go and see what was in. And and slowly working out the mechanics of the game between the two of us has just been so much fun.
Yeah. There's definitely improvements I'd like to make. Like, it'd be great to set like waypoints. So if I'm like, okay, I'm looking at this thing over in distance, and you're like, where? And I'm like, over there. And it'd be great if I could like put something on a map so you could see it as well. Or
yeah, absolutely.
But those are quality of life.
I will say this though, I like the fact that it's not got a map.
Yeah,
that's really adding to the whole
actually.
exploration stuff. Because I can't remember who I was talking to about it. And they were saying, has it got a map or something? And I was like, no. And I just realised now how important that is, and why that's adding so much to my excitement of going exploring, really, because you don't know where you are and you have to remember things to get back to where you were before. And it feels quite important.
Yeah, and like we've got to the base of this massive tower, and if we had a map, we'd like, okay, go in there, jump here. But it's just, you're like, how do we even
have no
get
idea
up there?
How to get in there. Yeah, it's crazy. In a way, it feels like what was that first interesting area they added to Destiny 1? The Juggernaut or something.
That was like
the
Dreadnought, the giant ship.
The Dreadnought feels a little bit like that. The puzzles are way more basic. They're not the sort of thing where it's like, if you take this chest and then within 12 seconds chuck this stone into the right. It doesn't go that complicated, but it has that same feeling of, how the fuck do we even get in this place? Or how the fuck are we supposed to, release these pumps to start this thing? And then, the puzzle's right there. Like, everything you need is right there. It's just about putting two and two together and working it out. I'm really impressed with it. I can't wait to play more of it. And I was a little bit frustrated that we didn't get more done this week. But we got to get this done. We got to get it done.
Absolutely.
James, you might want to look into it. Anything else, Matt?
No, it's just out of Sekiro. I've started a little bit of Luigi's Mansion. Finally, I've had it.
Oh, nice.
I'm only like 2 minutes into it, so I'm going to play more of that this week because I've sort of been putting it off. I don't quite know why. I know everyone says it's amazing, and I've had it. I bought it off a mate for like 2 weeks now. I just haven't really bothered. But
it's one of those because when I really started enjoying it, it's one of those I'm sort of frightened to use it up, because I know people are finishing
I know exactly
it.
What you mean.
Like it's like 10 hours, right, start to finish. I know there's extra stuff, but I'm sort of like, I don't want it to run out.
I think it's a little bit longer than that. But
okay,
I mean, you got to remember, I played with a 5-year-old, so it was it was always going to take me a little bit longer. But I think generally it is a little bit longer than that. What I will say to you, Matt, is if you want to get the most out of this game, just don't use a walkthrough at all.
Oh, no, I wasn't. It's not a hard game, is it? I wasn't planning to use a walkthrough.
No, I know, but I know what you like with walkthroughs. But it's just instant, isn't it? What I will say is just don't worry too much about I'm slightly self-conscious of maybe not overhyping this game, but people kind of getting the wrong idea of why people love it so much. It's not the moment-to-moment, wow, look at this is really cool and it's doing some really interesting stuff. It's you've got to kind of just give yourself to its charm.
It's the whole thing, isn't it?
It's the animation, isn't it? It's the animation and character and charm and all that sort of stuff. Like, I hear people complaining about the cat, and traditionally, I would say, well, that is a bit padding and it is a bit shit, those bits, but it's not really about that. It's about watching Luigi freak out and get frustrated, and I don't know. It's got this weird feeling behind it that sort of completely. It's more of an emotional reaction to it than a critical. This bit was good. This bit had problems. No, it's more of an emotional reaction to it. It's strange, but that's why I love it.
I'm going to get myself into it and get it played a bit this week.
For sure, James. What you got on your list?
I've got a bunch of things because it's been. I mean, I wasn't here last week. I mean,
of course,
there was. I mean, Stories Untold. I finished that, and I agree with Matt overall about that because I really loved the final episode. I thought it was brilliant, like the way everything came together. And I don't have the patience for the puzzle stuff, but it was only really the third episode that annoyed me. The rest I thought were fantastic, and it was great. I also went back to the Outer Worlds and finished that.
Oh God, what was the ending like?
Not great. I mean, it's it's a weird game because I went back to it and I thought I didn't know how close I was to the end, and it turned out I was actually really close to the end. But it feels like it's the anti-Fallout in that everything works and it's fine. But it's just, I don't know, I just felt like I was going through the motions with it. Like, I didn't find the story and the side quests like very interesting. I didn't think the story was that great. Really,
Such a shame. Such a shame. It starts so well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a real sort of like B grade kind of game. I felt like it's fun to play, but it wasn't certainly wasn't quite up there.
The other criticism I've heard about that game is that in terms of the ending, it kind of feels that although you've done all these decisions throughout the game and they do crop up, it does kind of go right. But do you want the good ending or bad ending? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. Those decisions don't ultimately matter to what choice that you make at the end. It just sort of lets you override all the choices you've made. Is that true?
Yeah, it absolutely. Yeah, it's
Such a shame, man. It seemed so ballsy at the start, didn't it?
But it was free on Game Pass, and as we're always told, that makes it worth playing. So that was good. It's but yeah, so I did enjoy it, but it still felt a bit sort of like B grade, not amazing.
Okay.
But then I also went back to Death Stranding, and I finished that as well now.
Wow.
Jesus.
And it's this is I tweeted about this earlier in the week because I was playing it, and it felt like it was going on forever. Like it was one of those things where it's like I don't feel like I'm making any progress with this game at all. It just feels like it's the same thing over and over again, and it is like that. And there's so much wrong with the game, and there really is. And I didn't really care that much for the narrative, but I did enjoy the exploration and like the getting from A to B kind of thing, and like climbing like the snow-capped mountains and stuff was really fantastic. But the worst thing about it was the ending, which was a massive slog. I mean, I started doing the ending, and I thought was going to be the ending at about 10 p.m. one night, and I switched off my PS4 at 1:30 in the morning, and because it was like 2.5 hours or longer of cutscenes with like minimal interaction. And what they do is he does this whole thing where there's like scenes where you're seeing the same thing that you've already seen earlier in the game, but from different angles. And it's one of those times when it really feels like this is Kojima trying to show that he's a really good director. He's like, look at this. Look, I've nailed this. He's like,
look, I'm a visionary.
I understand. I really understand directing. Look at this. Look, this is. I'm showing you a different side of the story. That's.
He's like, look, I've watched 3 Quentin Tarantino films.
But it goes on for quite a long time, and it's also quite tedious because the story. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about it, like the detail of it, but it's a lot less clever than I thought it was going to be. Like, I didn't think it was that great. It's quite simple. Like by the time, I mean, there's a lot of really weird stuff, obviously, but the actual core story is not really that complicated.
Does it actually explain things?
Yes, absolutely. And this is the problem
the figures in the sky and stuff. That's all explained.
It kind of well, some bits get the core bits get explained.
Okay, nothing gets explained.
Let's just roll back.
But it's fine because they do the credits do roll 3 separate times.
Wow!
Like during it, which was quite impressive. Like I was shocked because this is when Sean and like Matt and Dave. I don't know why I'm just mentioning Sean there. It's weird.
No, just talk to me. Fuck the others.
Yeah, it was like this is why when it was like 12 o'clock and I saw the credits roll and I was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of done now. I feel this is fine. And then it just continued, and then there was more story, and then more things happened, and then there was more credits, and I was shocked. I mean, I saw the name Norman Reedus so many times, like kept coming up all the time, and obviously like Hideo Kojima as well. But it is odd though because I still find myself thinking about it, and I'm really glad that I went back to it, even though it really bored me towards the end. There's something about it though that there's a hook to the game that makes it that I didn't feel like I wasted my time playing it. Put it that way. I felt like I'd had an experience out of it.
A lot of praise there, James. Be careful.
Yeah, no, I felt like I'd had an experience,
okay.
which I hadn't had from anything else that year. Like from from what came out last year.
Did you find that after the initial week or so after that game come out, people just sort of went quiet on it?
Yeah. I think a lot of people gave up.
Quite telling.
Because the trouble with it was that the first 3, once you get to chapter 3 goes on for hours, like for hours and hours and hours. But then the chapters after that are a lot shorter. Like they go through a lot quicker. So I think a lot of people, maybe they got to like chapter 3 and were just thinking, is this going to be like this? For like, and it's like you look up and it says there's 12 chapters or whatever, and you're like, no chance, I'm not doing this. But it's like, no, they're actually a lot shorter after that.
I mean, between this and Metal Gear Solid 5, it is just starting to feel like Kojima just can't pace an open world game, right? Because most people, like Metal Gear Solid 5, I loved loads of things about it, but I just ran out of steam with it, as did a lot of people, I think. It's just, just the pacing is just off, and it sounds like this has a similar problem. But
I mean, like towards the end of the game, there's several times where you have to travel like from one end of like the map to the other, which takes about an hour and a half or so, like to get across. And it's like you've got no choice but to do that. And like every time I was like, I don't know if I want to do this again because it's like horrendous. But then
I'm sure the fans will say, but that's the point.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's the thing though, because then when I actually did it, I did find myself enjoying actually doing it. Yeah. It's just the thought of it, like just thinking I've got to trudge through this again. But then actually, there's a lot of like interesting stuff that happens while you're traveling, that make it like worth going through. And but as I said, I mean, it's definitely not for everybody, but it's still I did enjoy it. It was something that I think was interesting.
Cool.
And the only other thing, I played Knack 2. Which is a bit because I've been playing. No. I've got a reason for this because I've been playing it with Asher.
James? I was living a fever dream.
But no, I mean, I've been playing this with Asher because we were looking for something we could play like 2-player, and it's not a great platform game at all. It's not a great fighting game, but it is in co-op. It's kind of perfect to play with him. It's because it's really welcoming and easy to get into and drop in. It's got like drop in and drop out like sort of co-op, and the cooperation that you have in the game. You have to do this, but like Asher's really enjoyed like working out the puzzles and everything, and then like we beating each other up and stuff. But it also has this really handy thing where if you press like the R2 button, wherever your character is, it like teleports to wherever the other character is.
Okay.
So it really minimises that whole sort of like stressful thing that you get, because you get that sometimes when you play whenever I play with my kids, you're playing stuff like Mario and stuff, they sometimes they get lost or whatever, and it's like hard for them to get back. With this it's like instant. And it really feels well designed in that for the co-op, because it prevents irritation at like every level. It's like even like they have these cutscenes where you have to do QTEs, and if you fail it's like it goes back like just 1 or 2 steps kind of thing, so it makes it much like less frustrating to get through. I mean it's like a B-tier CGI film. Like this is I was thinking about this when I was thinking about it. It's like when you like you think of like Pixar films as being like these are like the best kind of like CGI films you're going to get. Yeah. And then you get stuff like Trolls or whatever and stuff like that. Yeah. That's what Knack 2 is.
Was it that? And was it the Emoji Movie?
Yeah. It's not that bad. But yeah, it's that kind of level, like that sort of like B studio kind of thing. But it's playing as with most things in co-op, it's still fun to play. Like I would recommend this, for playing with a child.
Has he not got into Lego games?
Not massively, no. Like we've played a couple of them, but he always gets a bit bored with it. Like he liked like Lego City Undercover. That was quite fun. But then like most of the others, not really so much.
I wonder if it like what do you call it? Was it the Incredibles one was really good, especially like if it likes Pixar stuff, because it doesn't limit itself to the Incredibles. It's that's pretty good. But I mean, of course, I've mentioned it all over the place that Harry is now a complete and utter Star Wars nut. And I was tempted to try one of those Lego Star Wars games, but you got that new one coming out, ain't you, this year?
Yeah,
and it kind of feels that I should wait.
They're also a lot less friendly than I remember them to be.
Yeah, like if you play, they're a fucking nightmare for puzzles and stuff. They're ridiculous. Yeah. Like they don't make it clear at all what you're supposed to be doing at times. It's they're really
bad. There's a lot of like even playing it as an adult, there's a lot of like stand in like precisely the right place.
That's it. That's the biggest problem. Yeah, stand in the right place, and they rely on these weird symbols, like where it's like you can only do it with this character that has this symbol, but you look at the symbol and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah. So I'm hoping the new Star Wars game will be good.
And that's what Knack 2 does really well, though. Like, it doesn't have anything like that. It just feels very easy to get into.
You just go around bashing stuff up and getting bigger, don't you?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. and it's good. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, and the only other thing I'm still playing Witcher 3, because that's still going on.
How far into it? Have you done the bloody Baron quest?
Yeah, I've done all that.
Done the witches in the swamp.
Have you? I was going to say, have you definitely done all the bloody Baron quest? Because it sort of revisits it a few times before it's fully.
It does, doesn't it? Where does it? Yeah. Does it end with the lack of burial? Is that the best way of putting it?
I think that's certainly one of the final bits. Yeah.
See, I've just gone to Novigrad now, but I don't.
Right,
do I
so
go
probably
back
not. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So you haven't had the bit with the baby.
Oh yeah. I've done
right. Okay. Yeah. You've probably done it then, because that's right near the end of that main thing. Yeah. But have you done the witches in the swamp as well?
Yep, done that.
They're fucking creepy, man.
Yep.
They know how to do some creepy shit in that game. There's no doubt about that. And also, just out of interest, did you fight a wizard down a cave that was teleporting all over the place?
No.
Right, okay. That was probably one of my least favourite bits of that game, to the point where I didn't want to play it no more. That's where I really started hating the combat, I think. He was like teleporting all over the place, and then he had a shield around him, and I can't remember it totally, but I just remember being in this cave and just being really pissed off. But yeah, okay, cool.
How far have you got in? Did you get into it, Dave? Did you finish it?
Really far. I say really far. I don't know how long it was, but I think I put about 20, 25 hours in. I think it was around that mark. I played it for a long time. But yeah, no, really enjoyed it. I did play.
The thing I find really odd about it is, normally when I play games like this, like when you're watching like dialogue scenes, and like I often just like read and then like skip, to get through things and everything. I find myself not doing that with this, and I don't know why. Like I find myself just listening to all the conversations.
It's because the acting's fantastic in it, and the writing's really good as well. It feels like everyone's got something to say, apart from when they ask you to play Gwent. The moment it looks like they're reaching for the cards, you're like, okay, skip this.
Nope.
I I've not played a single game of that.
No, I never will.
It's fine. Don't worry. I mean, because you know me, I like those kinds of things. Did not get on with Gwent at all. I'm amazed that it became a standalone thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
I couldn't care less about card games, so it's just never going to happen. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Sean.
Just a couple from me. I've been playing Surviving Mars, which is on. I know it's on Game Pass on PC. I don't know if it's on Game Pass on the Xbox as well.
I can't remember. They did this weird thing the other day, didn't they? Where they announced a bunch of Game Pass games, but some of them were PC only and some of them were Xbox only.
Yeah,
because Greece was on one, wasn't it?
Plague Tale was on one as well.
Yeah, and it was kind of
so Plague Tale was on both. Eventually,
right, okay.
But it was like they announced first, Plague Tale's on Xbox, and I was like, oh right, okay, I guess I'll play it. I'd rather play it on PC, whatever. And then 2 hours later, I got a notification, Plague Tale's on PC. So, oh right, okay.
I've just checked. Surviving Mars is also on console. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
Right.
So it's a city builder, but it's you're in charge of the first colonists on Mars, right? So it's interesting because yes, it's a city builder, and it's looking after people, making sure they've got everything they need, but where, list of things that people need includes air and water and food. Whereas, like SimCity, it's like, have they got enough shops? Have they got, places to work or whatever? Whereas this, it's there's a real emphasis on that sort of fragility of surviving on a planet that really, isn't built to sustain human life. So it's got all the satisfaction of making setting up power networks and stuff, making sure there's enough energy, gathering resources, and sort of always plotting your next move about how to expand. Whilst everything you add sort of complicates things a bit more because you're constantly playing this balancing game of all your resources and utilities and stuff. But occasionally there'll be things So, I'd built my first dome. So, sorry, you start off where a ship lands on Mars and a load of drones spill out, and you're just controlling these robot drones to begin with. And you're right, gather some metals and some concrete and stuff, build, more build all the things that, all the infrastructure that's required to support human life. And then you call your first colonists in, so they don't land straight away. They're just they're still on Earth, and then you choose when to bring them over. So I built this first dome, got, water supply, oxygen, all the rest of it all sorted, built, some little apartments and a nursery for the kids and, some manufacturing places so they got jobs and all the rest of it. I was like, right, cool, this is it. Right, so we put in my first request for some colonists to come over. And then it was just like, there's a meteor shower, watch out. And I was like, oh, fuck, what does this mean? And a meteor fell and struck one of the pipelines from the water and oxygen production place to the dome.
I know.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, well, at least it didn't hit the dome or any of the factories or whatever. And then realised, no, we're on Mars. All that air and water is just venting out into the atmosphere now. So luckily, no one had arrived yet. But if that meteor had hit 10 minutes later, they all would have died probably.
Dropping the dinner at a dinner party.
Yeah.
Fuck, well, they're not here. Maybe I could just order a takeaway and then just put it on plates.
And then you realise, you can build valves and stuff into your pipe network so that you can sort of control things like that. So you can okay, well, let's just seal them off, and then the air and water they've got, they can just survive off that until the pipe's repaired. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. There's it's as with a lot of city builders, it's weirdly relaxing. There's just this constant flow of new things to try out. Which then, and as I say, every time you add something, you're like, well, hang on, that then impacts, I now need more energy or more water. And so you're constantly expanding your infrastructure that supports the new things you want to try. And it's cool that you have this constant, it's not just you land on Mars, you've got this many people, deal with it. It's you have this constant relationship with Earth in that you can call in more people to come and live on Mars, but you can also call in resources. So you're never at a complete dead end as long as you've got some money. If there's a resource that you're missing, you can just order it from Earth and then it comes in a spaceship. But also it's this really interesting system where there's a tech tree, right, where there's all different things you can research as you go through the game, which includes new buildings and stuff. But a lot of them you can just order them from Earth as well. So you can essentially order buildings and stuff that you wouldn't normally get until much later on into the game, but you can just pay Earth to just bring a pre-built one. And it's interesting because it's essentially cheating, but it costs quite a lot of money, so you've got to do it in a really sensible way. You can't just order loads of shit that you don't necessarily need. You've got to be right, I can order stuff that I'm not supposed to have, but I've got to make sure I buy the right shit to actually complement what I'm trying to build.
How do you get money and currency to be able to buy those?
So you basically you mine special metals or whatever, which you then, so when a ship comes, it then lands on the planet, lets a load of drones out, resources, whatever, they unload everything, and then it sits there until you refuel it. So while you're waiting for it to refuel, you can also load it with sort of special metals and stuff, and then as it goes back to Earth, they get sold, and then that's how you make money.
All right, so you could either play it just by mining and getting money and buying the bits as entire buildings from Earth or whatever, or you can do research instead and do it that way. Is that
exactly? Yeah. So you can do research. So you can send little probes around and they find weird shit, things of scientific interest, and that gives you research points, which you then put into researching new stuff. And it's just great, and it's it always goes a long way with me when it's one of these city builder games where you can zoom all the way in and basically be at ground level looking at people walking around, and every one of them's got a name and a job and
that sounds great.
It's just properly relaxing to play. The soundtrack's beautiful as well, just really nice mix of sort of orchestral and synth stuff. Just one of those. I just stuck it on.
How this works on the Xbox.
It's I've played it on PC, but I've played mostly with a controller.
Oh, really?
It's fine. There's a lot of shortcuts to get your head around, which is a bit much. It's left trigger
plus
puts you to one. Yeah. It's left trigger puts you to one menu, right bumper's a different menu, Y is your build menu. But just give it some time, you get used to it. It's on Game Pass. I know I always get annoyed when I sort of use that as a sort of who gives a shit? It's on Game Pass. But like, yeah, definitely try it out if you're into city builders or just into sci-fi shit, because that's the reason. I've mentioned before, I've been watching loads of The Expanse lately. I'm like, I want to build something. I want to play something about building stuff in space. So it's fully ticked that box. It's been really great.
I haven't played a city builder since the original SimCity on Saturn. But okay. I've been Limmy's been streaming City Skylines. Have you played that?
Oh yeah, I haven't actually. No, I was really tempted when it came out on Switch, but then apparently it was a bit of a shit.
Oh, I forgot it's out on Switch. Right.
Yeah, I think I've got it on Steam. I think it was one of those £3 in a sale jobs. I might give that a go.
Yeah, because just watching Limmy stream that, I was like, well, obviously funny because he's a funny guy, but it's also really satisfying, just like trying to build the correct motorway to make sure traffic gets into the city and stuff. But you haven't really played that, even though you've got it.
Yeah, not played it at all.
Okay,
but
right.
having played Surviving Mars and remembering that I really like these games, I should probably give it a go. The only other thing I've played a bit of is Tangle Tower. Which is because I've been promising I need to actually play some Apple Arcade stuff.
I was going to say it sounds like a mobile game, like the title in it.
It's not what you're expecting, because it sounds like sounds like a puzzle game. Which, I mean, there are puzzle elements, but it's kind of, I want to say like a point and click adventure, but it's a lot like the sort of investigation bits in a Phoenix Wright game, for example. In that, you're these two detectives and you've turned up at this tower because there has been a murder, and you're investigating it and figuring out what's going on. So I'm quite early on, so I can't speak to how satisfying the central mystery is, but it is utterly charming. It's obviously, it's an Apple Arcade game. It's I forget who actually made it, but obviously it's an indie game. But the production values are stunning. Like it's it looks beautiful. It's all just 2D scenes that you're sort of transitioning through. You press one button to go to like a map screen, and then you select different rooms, and but it's just the artwork is just beautiful. And like all the characters are fully voiced, which doesn't sound like a huge deal, but it's just really refreshing to play a game like this where the sound effect you hear most of the time is just because when people are speaking. Like, it's just actually really nice just watching the cutscenes play out and stuff, because the characters are all a joy to listen to.
Yeah.
And they're all beautifully animated as well. I think they've done the trick they did with The Witcher 3 with the dialogue animations is that actually there's like a, for Geralt and whoever else, there's actually like 10 sort of canned dialogue animations, and the game just sort of randomly assigned them to bits of dialogue, and then they sort of went through and sort of tweaked it here and there.
Yeah.
I think they've kind of done that here in that you can see, after a while you see them repeat, but it's like these animated characters are talking at you, and they just seem really expressive, like any of the, that you've played so many games like this where the characters are either just like a little image, or maybe they're animated but it's just the mouth going, but they just seem really expressive and cool, and combined with the decent voice acting, it's just an absolute pleasure to just watch people having conversations in it. There's a lot of like just looking at a room and sort of tapping on things and getting a bit of dialogue and maybe a puzzle or finding clues. And every clue you pick up is then something when you're interviewing someone, you can then go to your inventory and like, what do you make of this that I found, and stuff like that. So finding stuff opens up new dialogue. As I say, I've not solved any of it yet. I'm still in the stage of just like going around talking to everyone, getting statements from people, trying to figure out loosely what happened. But yeah, just properly enjoying it. Really glad I finally checked it out, because I know a lot of people, people have been recommending it on Twitter and stuff. But as I say, I had this problem with Apple Arcade that I just downloaded about 30 games immediately and then just didn't really know where to start. I've just deleted loads and then sort of went in on this, and I'm really glad I did. It's good.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because it feels a bit like, Apple Arcade when it first came out, there was like a big sort of splash with it, but then it feels a bit like it's kind of not died, but you don't really hear much about it anymore, or maybe that's just me.
Well, they don't release much, do they? There's like, one game a week, if that, which is still...
That's not bad.
It's plenty, really.
The quality's high, that's good.
Yeah, but I almost wonder if it suffered because there was such a huge glut to begin with, and maybe they should have spread it out a bit more. But
Or
don't know.
Apple have got the same attention span as Google. When it comes to this stuff.
There is that.
It's
Because
like,
I also
we've
felt
launched
really
it.
terrible because I remembered that, because Apple did say, didn't they, that like the devs get paid based on the amount of engagement with their stuff.
Well, I don't know if that was ever
No, that
confirmed.
was-
so
that was-
originally that was rumoured to
they-
be like an iOS thing, and everyone was like, oh my god. And then that was actually confirmed for Google's version
Yeah.
of Apple, like,
Oh, right,
of
okay.
whatever, the Play Pass, whatever it was. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that was actually put into practice for Apple, or that was just rumoured,
okay.
or they got a patent or something. But
Right, okay.
I
No,
wouldn't be
that's
surprised
interesting.
if that's the
Yeah,
case, but that was never confirmed for Apple's, but it was confirmed for Google's one.
Right,
I'm pretty
sorry.
certain it was just for the Play Store. Because there was that whole debate, wasn't there, about like, does that mean we're just going to see loads of like really short games or whatever, or really
Yeah.
long games, or
Yeah.
to try and game it?
Yeah. So yeah, Tangle Tower, it's good.
Nice.
Cool.
And that's it. That is it from me.
Yeah, and I've only got a couple of quick ones. The first being that I had a go at the old Nintendo Labo VR over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that I love, you've heard about it, you know what it is, and you know that it's not brilliant. I mean, the mini game we were playing with the blaster where we were shooting fruit into hippos' mouths was pretty fun. But other than that, the one thing I took away from it, right, is that when you think of Nintendo, you'd think, I think parents would be more comfortable with their kids using this than they would a full VR headset like a PSVR or an Oculus Quest or whatever. No, trust me. If you want your if you're worried about your kid's eyes getting screwed up in VR or whatever, don't use the Switch one. I started
awful,
using it
it's-
and I felt a bit ill straight away. I was like, this ain't right. Because I've been using the Quest so much. That's not anything that I've had from the Quest. So, don't.
It's really, really blurry, isn't it?
It's
And sort of
really
just-
blurry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it worked and it was fine. And that blaster thing feels fantastic. Have you used yours, James?
I have, yeah. The sort of the click.
Yeah, the click
leopard
back. The
thing,
only
it does
weird
feel
thing
good.
is that the trigger. Imagine holding a gun, but the trigger is on the other side of the handle, and you have to use your thumb to fire. That's weird. But other than that, it's the pump action thing and the way it fires is pretty damn cool. So that was just a quick something that I played over the weekend. The other thing is Battlefront 2. So I went back to that again this week, and they've added a new game mode. And this is what I was talking about earlier, Sean. So they've added a game mode where you're not playing Battlefield, but you are. You're
Right.
basically playing, say, a game of Rush, but instead of playing other people, you're playing 50 times the amount of other people that you normally would, but they're all bots. So
Right.
getting kills is really easy because
Yeah.
they're bots. And it's ridiculous how many enemies it chucks at you. And honestly, if you want to feel a bit Star Wars for a bit, there's no better way. We were playing this one mode where we were the clone bot things. Not the clone bots, but they were in the prequels. What are they called? The little skinny robot things.
Yeah,
So
droids,
we were
whatever.
controlling them, and we were looking down, and the amount of people from what were they called back then? It weren't the Rebellion, was it? It was the Resistance.
Resistance.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The amount of people from the Resistance.
Dave, you've seen all these films now. You should
Once. No,
Oh, sorry,
I know.
the Republic. You mean? Yeah.
I just get it mixed up, don't I? Yeah, the Republic, whatever. And you see them all climbing the hill at the same time, and you're just like, fuck. There are hundreds of them, and of course I'm playing along with mates, and we're absolutely killing them. And then all of a sudden, because you are killing so many people, you've got the heroes opened up to you. And the moment I picked Darth Maul and that music came on as I spawned into the game, I was just like, oh, come on, this is just too good. So yeah, I mean, that game obviously had a lot of problems, but they've stripped a load of stuff from it. And even then, I was complaining when I went back, when I played it for the first time a couple of weeks ago. I was like, it's really just weighted towards people that play it regularly, and I was just dying constantly, and I just wasn't really getting into it. But playing this game mode with my mates, it was like, we could easily do this for a few hours every week. because it's got the music, it's got the visuals. Like, I mean, it looks stunning. It's got all the sound effects and all of the characters in it. It's just like, shit, man, this is properly good. So, you know, get together with a few mates, get this, and just give this game mode a go.
Is this called Capital Supremacy? Is that what it's called?
If that's the one that's just come out, I don't know the name of the title. The game mode. My mates were on, right? I logged on to play some Rocket League. I saw they were all on Battlefront, so I joined them, and they were like, "Oh, this is this new game mode where you play against a load of bots," and it was just so fun. We played it for the rest of the night. Highly recommended. Yeah,
Cool.
if you're into Star Wars
nice.
and you gave that a swerve because it was Battlefront 2, definitely pick it up now, because there's
It's
some
one of
really cool
those,
shit in
because
there.
I've still got a Origin Access sub, because it's like $3.99 a month. I think I can play it on that, but do I want to play it on PC or do I just want to play it on PS4?
You can also buy it on PS4 usually for about £4 or whatever.
Yeah, but
fair
I ain't being funny, Sean, but if you've got a mate that's also got it on PC through this Origin thing, that's all you need, just one mate.
Yeah.
Like when I joined, it was just 2 people playing it, and they were having just as much fun, and, you know, it was 3 of us doing it. Just for that game mode alone, it's well worth like £3. It's unreal. It's really good fun.
Cool.
Are you playing
I
through
was
EA
well happy with
Access,
that.
or did you say you bought it?
I think, well, I've got Game Share, haven't I?
Oh,
So-
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played it through that, but very good. Very good. Okay, that's it for games this week. Should we get on to emails?
Emails. If you want to send us an email, send it to podcast@thecomputergameshow.com, and it shows up on all our phones at the same time. Dean Gresty says you have 2 weeks to obtain worldwide fame. What is your plan of attack? Rules. Number 1, you're not allowed to do anything illegal. 2, you're not allowed to spend any money. 3, no sex tapes.
How are you supposed to do this without doing something illegal? It's impossible.
No, it isn't.
All right, what would you do then, Dave?
Find out where Nigel Farage is, and then jump in front of him. I'll probably wear a funny costume and sing a lick a boom boom down over and over again. That'll make the news.
That's not going to get you worldwide fame.
I think
though.
it would when it
Not
hits Twitter, mate.
worldwide fame.
When it hits Twitter, mate. When it hits Twitter. A licky boom boom down. A licky boom boom down.
I reckon 10,000 retweets max, but that's not worldwide fame.
Nah,
It'll
more
make
than
the
that.
news.
I don't think it would.
What you
Maybe
think
that-
I'll
yeah,
make?
well.
Today a man
BBC
jumped in front
One
of
News.
Nigel
News at 10.
Farage,
What do you think
dressed as
Lord
Luigi,
Green
shouting a
comment on that?
licky boom boom down. That would definitely make the news. Definitely. I love that shit. Right.
Interview on the BBC, no doubt.
No,
Come on then,
because it would just
Matt,
say
what would you do?
it would just say an unnamed protester, blocked Nigel Farage.
Yeah, but then
today.
everyone will be talking about a licky boom boom down, man. You know that's
Laura
what they're
Kuznets's
doing.
not going to mention Licky Boom Boom Down. She's not going to
Okay,
mention it.
beat it then, Matt. What would you do? Come on, let's hear your great
Well,
idea. Is
I
it another
wanted to
meme?
beat
Is
it, but it
it?
said no sex tapes. So that was my first option. And then not spending any money. It's like, and not. I mean, I was really stumped. I was like, okay,
Well, that's the point, Matt.
It's toughy.
It's the removing the illegal stuff that makes
I was
it
going to say,
impossible.
because when Dave mentioned Nigel Farage, I was like, oh yeah, you could just beat the shit out of him. No, that's illegal.
That's illegal.
So,
Singing a
unfortunately-
lucky boom boom down isn't.
No, totally
No.
legal.
It's
I mean,
like
although
doing a dump
Nigel
on his
Farage
car
should
or
probably be able to
something,
paint
yeah?
it as assault somehow.
True. Matt, come on. You can't slag
all right.
my idea off and then go, oh, I can't think of one.
I mean, I can. I presume like defecating anywhere is also illegal, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can't do
Yeah.
that.
Well, I'm out of ideas then.
Well, I mean, in the toilet's all right, but yeah, anywhere else is generally frowned
If it's
upon.
nothing to do with like jerking it or shitting somewhere, I'm really out of ideas.
That's all he's got.
Okay, so don't have a go at my idea then, because I'm already more famous than you with a lucky boom boom down. So I've
10,000
already
people
got.
max.
No, that'd be more than 10,000 people. I'm sure of it.
No one will care.
James,
It's rubbish.
what would people care about there? Come on.
I don't know, but
Exactly.
definitely
So
not
go
that.
fuck yourself. You're all pointing at me. I'm the only one that's giving it a bloody go.
The thing is, like
all right?
worldwide fame, like, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, UK fame.
Wait. Can't we just do a 24-hour charity stream?
That is
That's
going
not
to
going to make you
next
worldwide fame.
Yeah, well,
It might.
Well, it depends what happens on the stream.
H-Bomber guy did one. He got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on it.
That's a good point.
Answering questions about Donkey Kong 64. It was incredible.
Yeah, so that's just about hooking, getting, making sure everyone retweets it and like getting some good contacts.
No, I can't wait. Right.
Well,
you've
that
just
was how that
slagged my
stream blew up.
No,
I think. Obviously, it's worthy
You've
cause as well.
You've just slagged my idea off for the past 5 minutes. Sean goes, a 24-hour stream, and you're going, yeah, if that gets some traction. Fuck off.
I was thinking about Sean's
as well.
specific example, which obviously, was massive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fuck off.
The trouble is like the anything illegal thing is the biggest thing that's stopping me, because if I can do illegal stuff, I'd be fine. Well out of fame in
Yeah, I
like
know.
5
We've
minutes.
all heard about you wanting people to remember you forever.
Make an impact. I'm still trying to find that thing that makes
a
an
wank
impact.
in the office.
Yeah.
I mean, but, personally, I'll just crack on with the yo-yo skills. I reckon 2 weeks be enough.
You can walk the dog. What can you do?
This is just
easy.
annoying. I can sing a Looky Boom Boom Down in front of Nigel Farage. That's what I could do. Right, come on, next.
Right, Lee Griggs says, have you got any game soundtracks stuck in your head at the moment? I've currently got Sayonara Wild Heart stuck in mine every time I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's driving me mental. Well,
yeah.
I really like that soundtrack, but yeah, that's not a way I'd like to experience it.
I've just recorded an episode of Sound of Play.
Oh, nice.
And so, I've got loads of songs in my head. I probably shouldn't say, right? I'll keep them to myself. You can listen to a podcast.
Spoilers.
But yeah, I've got loads of things. I'll tell you one thing about Sound of Play that I didn't know about. Did you know that they did this whole sort of Halloween special last year? I strongly suggest that you go back and listen to it. I think it was like episode 222 or 333 or something, but it was October last year. And they did this Halloween special where we possessed their show. Listen to it. It's about an hour in, but he's taken clips from this show and had a whole conversation with us as deaf or something. You just got to hear it. Honestly, it's about 15 minutes long, and he's deaf, and he's talking to us.
He can't hear
clips
As in,
of this show.
wait. As in death.
Yeah,
as in death.
He means death,
okay.
not death.
Okay.
What's the copyright on this? Is he
That's the
using
point,
my
yeah.
voice?
Oh, fuck off, James. How have you gone from James Farley,
the
my
first time I've
nerdy
ever been
mate, to
bothered
people...
about that.
Yeah, I know. You've gone from James Farley, this bloke that I know, to suddenly, has he copyrighted?
Where's our fucking royalties?
That's my voice. Jesus. But yeah, go and listen to it. It's October. It's well funny. Well funny. Go on.
Cool, we'll do. So I went to the Nia concert last night.
Did you really?
It's fucking brilliant. Front row seats, mate. Yeah, it was incredible. It was weird because
How many people were there?
Oh, loads. It's packed.
Really?
Yeah,
but how big was the venue?
It was the what's it called?
I am literally not having a go at it. I'm just trying to find out how many people would go to something like this.
Was it the Royal Exchange there, or the one on the South Bank?
Oh,
yeah.
You in London town?
Yeah, mate.
Bloody hell! They didn't warn me. They didn't let me know about that. All right, go on. How you doing, Dave?
It was a flying visit, but yeah, no, it was really good. It was slightly weird because obviously anyone who knows the soundtrack to Nier Automata, especially, it's quite diverse in terms of the instrumentation and stuff. Whereas this was all just arranged for an orchestra. So when you hear an arrangement of something you like, and your brain's expecting to hear things that aren't there because it's been arranged with a different set of instruments or whatever. So that was sort of jarring. And so Emmy Evans, who does a lot of the vocals, she was there. And she came out for a couple of songs, which was great. She was amazing. But then they played other songs that she has a bit in that she just didn't
bring her out.
Didn't bother turning up. So that was strange.
But was it very small bits? Was it and it would have been weird just having her stand.
Songs that she is in. But it just didn't. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, properly enjoyed it. It was really good. And Yoko Taro came out at the end and was weird. And you can imagine the orchestra was just what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I always think of shit like that. That always goes through my mind. When I listen to, say, for example, Queens of the Stone Age album that has a proper full orchestra in, you just kind of think these people that are professionally trained, they must be thinking, who is this guy and why are we doing this music for him? But more so, there was did you see, that weird Japanese character that James talks about all the time, the girl that dances and stuff?
Oh, Hatsune Miku?
Yeah. They had a live concert at, I think it was Brixton Academy recently.
Right.
And I just thought, they must have had security there because they always have security there. what must be going through their heads while this was going on? Like,
It's
what?
not even anyone on the stage. It's just
There's a big screen with this
hologram.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, what are they? They're going, oh yeah, gig tonight. Oh, was it? Oh, I've never heard of them. I'll see what they're like. They're standing on the stage, looking at this massive crowd who were going nuts and just going, the fuck is going on here? That's blow their minds.
Bizarre, isn't it? But yeah, so obviously been listening to the Nier Automata soundtrack a lot. It's good.
Cool. James?
Recently, I can't really think of anything that that's like video game, because I've been playing Death Stranding, and they've got these little interludes where they play some music a bit like Red Dead Redemption, but not anything particularly memorable, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I love the Ludens track from Bring Me the Horizon on that soundtrack, but mostly because I like that band. What's that band? Is it like Raw, something Raw? Their songs were good when they were popping up in the game.
Not very memorable to me, so can't remember.
Matt, have you got one in your head?
No, other than that
You
one.
play
track
most of the games
for
on
Bring
silent,
Me,
though, don't you? Yeah. All right.
All right, Deadbeat Punk says hi pod patriarchy, which I sort of resent. Says you all look fantastic. Have you had haircuts? I recently impressed myself by not ordering the Animal Crossing themed Switch. I'm not sure if it was because I'm a maturing adult, finally sensible about expenditures I do not need, or more likely, a broke Sadak pining for plastic. This set my little mind to wondering, what special edition of console would be so alluring to the TCGS boys that their wallets would crack open quicker than a lobster masquerading as a speed bump? Much just Maximus love as always, Deadbeat Punk.
I'll tell you what, if I didn't have one already, I'd be all over that Animal Crossing themed Switch.
It's great, isn't it?
Brilliant.
So nice.
Yeah.
I've got the most boring answer ever. I don't think there's any game that could get me to do that. I own the special edition PS4 Pro for Destiny 2, but that's not got Destiny written all over it. You know what I mean?
It's white, isn't it?
It's just white.
Yeah.
I can't think of even a Rocket League one. I just think, I got as close to downloading a Rocket League iPhone wallpaper.
Nice.
And I thought, I can't do it. And each their own. I'm not judging anyone that likes this stuff at all, I promise. But there's just not. I suppose because they're not usually that good looking, are they? They're usually with the fucking logo all over it and shit.
Yeah, it's like, as you're considering your answer, it's like all you're thinking of is all the shit ones, because there aren't many good ones, to be honest.
See, I'm just always imagining Dave with his Xbox One X England edition, England flag,
What, the three lions on
with
it?
St. George's Cross.
Yeah, with England flag on it, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
A Millwall Xbox, maybe. Maybe that'd be the exception. With the Millwall no, even then, I just kind of think, that's a bit. I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
a bit much, isn't it?
For the purposes of the question, do we have to pick something that, because obviously they're not going to release a console special edition for a game that's already out, right? So do we need to pick something that's coming out this year? Do you think? Because then you've got the added thing of what if you buy a special edition console for a game that turns out to not even be that good?
I mean, if it just had the Halo logo on it, maybe for the Series X, I guess maybe if I had to have one, because that logo is pretty cool. Obviously, I've been playing a lot of Halo recently, and you forget how much that logo meant. You know what I mean? It was just seeing it and the big tattoo. Yeah, I mean that was pretty cool. But even then, you just know that the Last of Us one will have Joel's face on it or something, and you just kind of I don't want him on my.
Don't need that.
Or just has a blood up the side of it, or something,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I would consider if they did a Hollow Knight Silk Song Switch this year.
Yeah,
that'd be tough. I reckon they could do that tastefully. It's got a strong enough art style.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Animal Crossing Switch looks gorgeous, but I would never have that. Mostly, I think the dock looks really shit. I think the actual, I think the colour of the Joy-Cons look gorgeous. I love their sort of muted pastel tones.
And
they're lovely.
the
the back of the Switch, it's basically got those designs, but it's just basically black or a matte black or a shiny black. So and that on the back of the console. So I could live with that. But I don't know, the dock I'm not a fan of the dock design. And actually, after looking at that, And I searched like special edition consoles on Google, and none of them are good. Like that Spider-Man one was disgusting, and I love
was
the
it?
game.
I thought the Spider-Man one was all right. Or
No,
I might be thinking,
it's a
didn't
red
they do
one.
a Star Wars one?
They did do a.
Did they? I don't remember.
I don't know, but the Spider-Man
Star
was
Wars
it's a red console with like a giant black spider, but the pad was like a red pad with like white sticks. So it looked a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. Didn't Microsoft do like those special edition like R2D2 ones or something when Kinect came out with Star Wars Kinect, and it was just like awful.
I mean, I think I have seen him. I mean, hasn't Dave, hasn't Chet got like that Gears of War Xbox and it makes a chainsaw noise when you turn on the machine?
It makes a chainsaw noise when you put it out.
It's himself.
Incredible.
I can't. I mean, I just don't think any of them ever look good, really.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Right, last email. Maria Mendieta says, Dear Council of Gaming Gurus, marvellous work with last week's 3-man podcast. Matt, contrary to what David says, you are the fan favourite in many of our hearts. Thanks,
you.
Maria. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Maria.
Yeah, but Sean, although, you know, you get in terms of fans' favourite, you know, I don't want to say it, but also, alternatively, you get the least abuse.
That's
Easily
true.
get the
Swings
least
around.
abuse.
I'm just the lukewarm water in the centre. It's fine.
In lukewarm water in the bath that needed to be hot or cold. Yes, that's correct.
She's picking up on your discussion of the positive types of game glitches that speedruns promote, while also tying in your conversation on Dishonored 2. I was wondering whether any of you had considered seriously delving into the so-called immersive sim genre of games. Game design in this genre, as Sean attested to last week, is specifically calibrated to invite players to break games using their imagination and each individual's special brand of logic. On this note, I personally implore you to please give Prey 2017 a chance. I know Matt began to play the introduction before moving on to other games.
That's a dick, isn't it? I thought I was your favourite.
And James still has to finish it in order to claim he is a Quantic Dreams completionist.
I don't understand that. What is the link between Prey and Quantic Dreams again?
Isn't there a thing that Quantic Dreams did some mocap for it or something?
Yeah,
I think they've done it for quite a few. Yeah. Where was I? But it really opens up an hour or so into the game once you get the glue gun. Using it as a weapon only unlocks half of its potential. It's only when you wield it as an exploration/platform building tool that the game allows you to appreciate its sequence-breaking potential, not to mention the joy of using a toy-like crossbow that allows you to fire foam darts at touchscreens through a window slit in order to bypass security doors. That does sound quite cool. If you enjoyed the freedom of Journey to the Savage Planet's puzzle design, you're missing out if you do not give Prey a chance. Instead of exploring space, you're exploring an intricately designed spaceship. Thank you for your time and keep up the great work. Yeah, I am thinking I probably need to play this because I played the demo and I had like some really interesting stuff, and then the little spider enemies freaked me out a bit, and I was like, no, I don't want to play this. But yeah, I think we've had a few people contact us about it saying it's really good, and apparently the Moon Crash DLC is incredible as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got as far as the glue gun stuff, and I was enjoying it, but I had to set it to play something else, so that's that.
It was the old
It
man.
is a Game Pass game as well, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, is it really?
Probably. Everything
Just made that up.
Statistically, probably yes. Yeah, no, pretty sure it is, yeah.
Cool. All right.
Probably.
Thanks for
Love
the
that.
recommendation.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it for the emails.
Oh my
Cool.
That's it.
Let's tweet it right up, lid. Tweet it
Okay,
right up.
if you want to tweet us, it's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. Just praise on Game Pass on PC and console. Paul Beaucamp needs Farley's feedback on Picard.
Tentatively fine with it at the moment.
That's high praise from James Farley there.
No, it is, because Discovery is one of the worst.
Discovery's not that bad.
Cut, Sean. Have you seen it?
I haven't, to be fair, I never finished Series 2. I really enjoyed Series 1, though.
We'll have a falling out if you think Series 2 of Discovery is good. It's one of the worst science fiction I've ever seen in my life. It's dreadful.
Okay. Obviously, I went off it for a reason, I guess. But
Utter rubbish.
Do not dare step up to James right now, Sean. He's
no, absolutely
going to knock you out.
The thing is, how many times have I heard James say one of the worst science fiction things I've ever seen in my life? I've heard you say that about everything, James. Attack of the Clones.
This week's Neighbours is
Twice
one of the
tonight.
worst.
yeah.
I've been watching Picard as well. It's like James says, it's a tentative, like, I think this could be really good. But there's just some, like, the first episode, the pacing of it is just insane. Like, the events that unfold within it could have taken like half a series. It's just, I don't know, it's weird what happens in the space of 40 minutes, but I appreciate the direction they've gone with.
As someone myself whose only interaction with Star Trek is those J.J. Abrams movies, am I going to get anything out of this?
Oh, no.
I don't know. Probably not.
No.
It's very much for people who watched The Next Generation, which you should, because it's really good.
Isn't it 40,000 episodes of that?
Yeah, I mean, I watched them all when Isaac was little, didn't I? So, which is a great thing to do, like when he was tiny and not sleeping a lot. I mean, to be honest, like James and I could probably put like a reduced list of like must see episodes. It's probably good.
Yeah, definitely.
There's definitely a few absolute stinkers. But yeah, there's some really good stuff in there. But yeah, Picard is very much built on like you having known this character for a long time, I think. Do you think that's right, James?
I think it's true, but fortunately they don't do that whole sort of like look at that something you remember thing. They don't do that too much, which is good.
Yeah.
It's not Rise of Skywalker.
6Squid at 6Squid_games. Is David still playing the excellent Shadow of the Tomb Raider? The composer of Papo Yo teamed up with a sound...
Papo EO.
Oh, my apologies. Papo EO. Teamed up with a sound designer of Inside to create a seriously impressive soundscape. Has the game's sound design stood out to you at any point?
Yeah, obviously the opening scene where you're walking through the crowds and stuff at that festival. Yeah, I mean, it sounded amazing. It really did. Have I gone back to it? No. I played it in the week before we got Journey to the Savage Planet. So I've kind of really wanted to play more of that, and I haven't gone back to. Oh fucking hell! I remember walking through that jungle as well. Yeah, the sound is incredible in it. But no, I've not gone back to it yet. I will do when I've got nothing else to play. But yeah, no, I mean, life's been hectic recently, so I haven't gone back to it quite yet. But it's definitely, well, I haven't deleted it from a hard drive, no, and don't intend to anytime soon. So I will be playing that again.
Nice. And the Godwin at Big Cop Man on Twitter. Now that the Gotti madness has died down, what was the Watty, the worst of the year for everyone? And can you agree on it too?
Fucking good question.
Oh, it's Anthem, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Anthem was my initial.
No,
but I haven't played enough.
No, mine for me was a game that. I managed to get code for it. Via like one of these websites that provides codes for indie games and stuff. I didn't feel that I could talk about it on the show because I didn't play enough of it. But the reason I didn't play enough of it was because I was so I could not believe how bad it was that I genuinely didn't want to play anymore. And it was a game called Woven, which apparently was it's an iPhone game or it was a mobile game. And where you control like this elephant that walks around, and it's just, honestly, it's shocking that it's out there and it's asking for your money. Really, really, really bad.
Oh yeah, I remember this because I remember you looking at it because you said this looks really good.
Yeah, they had some
like art style and everything.
There's some visuals for it, and I thought, wow, that looks like real Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
But it turns out those visuals might have been some. I don't know. The game don't look anything like it. Put it that way. And it plays absolutely horrifically. Just awful stuff.
Well, Absolute Xbox doesn't agree with you.
Go on.
They gave it 3.8 out of 5.
That's a high mark. Well, I mean, this is it. I didn't get enough into it to see if it had any redeeming factors with the gameplay. I'd be surprised if it did, because my word, everything I did in that game made me go, oh, this is awful. It doesn't even feel like a game. It just feels like But yeah, so there's every chance that I just missed what was good about it, but I'd be bloody surprised. I'd be very surprised. So that was mine.
What was yours, James?
I don't know. I mean, I probably hated quite a lot of things last year, but I can't remember what in particular. It's, I don't know. Can you remember me moaning about anything? Well, that's
yes,
a good question.
I mean, everything. That doesn't narrow it down at all.
I have no idea. I have to think about it. Anything that I really...
What? This was the year that you said that you were struggling to... You played 60 games?
Yeah.
But you were struggling to put anything on the list.
But that doesn't mean I disliked any of those games, because I generally don't play games that I really dislike. I just usually play stuff that I like.
Okay.
So no, I've got
Alright.
nothing. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Would Shenmue 3
wait a
not
minute.
be up there?
No, see, this is the problem. I can remember the worst game that I played, but it didn't come out last year.
Okay, what was it?
Quantum Break.
Right, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Matt?
Rafi at Anthem.
Oh, Anthem. Oh.
Rafi at Rafi Plays. I have recently had my hours cut at work, so no longer have Wednesdays commute to listen to the podcast. Can you give me a good excuse to tell the missus that will explain my absence from the house for a couple of hours while I listen to the pod? That's easy. Just do the big shop Wednesday morning.
That's a good shout. That is a
Or
good shout.
mow the lawn.
Yeah, fine.
I don't know. Clean the house. Just do whatever you need. Clean the car. I don't know.
Yeah. I often pick which chores I'm going to do based on what podcast I want to listen to. Like washing up's obviously the best.
Yeah.
Isn't
Well,
it?
washing
It's
up,
just
mowing the lawn. Those are the two biggies for spending time doing things.
I haven't got a lawn.
Just mow anyone's lawn. Just mow someone else's lawn. For a quid, like you
Scout
do
with
when you're
a
a
mower.
kid. I mean, I didn't actually, but kids do that, don't they? I'm probably not anymore.
Do they
because of
still do
Nah,
stuff like
nah,
that?
probably not because of
They don't, do
I always thought that was an American thing, getting
Yeah,
paid
it's
to do the
just-
neighbour's lawn or whatever. Yeah.
Nah, mate, we used to be knocking on doors all the time.
Really?
Like, do you want your car washed? Do you want your car washed? Right, have you got any soap? It's just
So, do you
awful.
want your car wash? No. Do you want it fucking smashed up? Oh, give us a fiver.
He knows the tricks.
Mehmet, UK Meho, I'm going to say. When Sean says the transistor protagonist knows more about the plot than the player, but just doesn't say anything about it, is he cruel on purpose, taking a piss, or has he forgotten that she is mute?
I mean, broadly speaking, not cruel on purpose. I like to think that's one of my general
famously not the
personality
case.
traits. Sorry, I forgot. I got confused. It's not her that's narrating. It's the guy that's in the sword. He's sort of talking about things that the two of them, that happened to the two of them, like just prior to you starting the game, which add a lot of context. But it just kind of doesn't get mentioned until later on, which I found.
Yes, we threw that back on you, Mehmet. Threw that back on you,
mate.
Sort it out. Oodles.
Still a bit of a faux pas, eh?
Yeah.
Go on.
Oodles. So I own an Xbox now due to a kindness of a fellow TCGS friend. I'm
Nice.
currently enjoying Game Pass. Can I get one must play from each of you from the service? P.S. I still think the DualShock is comfier than whatever the Xbox pad is called. I think it's called the Xbox controller.
Incorrect there. Incorrect. I mean, you're probably just used to the DualShock a little bit more, but oh god, it depends on what you've played.
I mean,
isn't
do
it?
we have to say Forza Horizon 4 anymore? Or is that? Can we not just? That's
Well, yeah, that's an
that
obvious
game's
one.
just
I
like
mean,
fucking oxygen on this podcast.
I would
now.
go
It's-
Outer Wilds. That's on there.
It's got to be Crackdown
Wilds,
3, isn't it?
Oh, James, trying to be funny.
You laughed.
Yeah, but then you could say Rocket League, Grand Theft Auto 5. Although, pretty sure he's played
Witcher
that one.
3.
What's
Or
that?
The Witcher 3.
Wait, hang on. He wants
Which
Game
phrase
Pass
is
recommendations, doesn't he?
These are all on Game
Yeah,
Pass.
they're all on Game Pass.
Grand Theft Auto 5's on Game Pass.
Yes.
Yes.
Fucking hell. All right, okay. News to me.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
That's
Fucking
why we were talking about doing the what is it? Doing a stream of one of the things.
Right, yeah, the heist. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know one that'll piss him off. The Gardens Between Oodles. That's on Game Pass. Play that.
Yeah, mate.
Get it down, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few recommendations there. Not one each, but
MD Crebuffs. When was the last time you got kicked in the nuts by someone that wasn't your child?
that's
a long time ago for
yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago. I remember being at school once.
Oh, yeah. Have you got any more like that?
It was college. I've got to. That's not the end of the story. What's up with you tonight, Matt?
Nothing, just crack on.
Very aggressive.
Did you fucking want one
Very
or what?
aggressive from you tonight. Well, it happened twice at school. Well, I say school, it was college. Once where some guy just didn't like me and just booted me in the nuts.
Jesus.
Right.
And there was another one where this girl come up to me who I fancied a bit, and she come up to give me a proper full-on snog. And when I went in for the kiss, she kneed me directly in the groin.
Hang on. So
she
went in for what you thought was a snog.
She come up to me
Yeah.
and went to give me a snog.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, what's happening here? And I went to give her a snog and she kneed me in the nuts.
Oh, God. So she was just
Wow.
pretending. That's cruel, isn't it?
Yeah, she was just pretending to sort of reel me in and then need me in the nuts and
What
walked
had
off
you
laughing.
done
And
for all these people at
there was
school
some
to be
other
kicking you in the nuts?
I was just like, I was the classic, like, nerdy sort of not weirdo. I think I don't think I was weird. I don't think so. But I don't know. I got picked on a lot. But that was a weird one. That was going from that feeling in my nuts to that feeling in my nuts was quite.
Must have been very very mixed up time for young Davey T.
And then there was a bunch of people watching. Like obviously she told them what she was going to do, and they were all laughing. So that happened.
Just be thankful that was the time where there wasn't like 50 kids videoing you on their phones, which is probably what happens now.
Exactly. There's several reasons why I'm happy that camera phones weren't a thing when I was at college, because we would have definitely done just the most stupid shit on them, and it'd all be on the internet.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Thank God for that. But yeah, that wasn't very nice. James, I can't imagine you've ever been kicked in the nut by anyone other than your children.
At some point, but I don't remember. It's a long time ago.
Okay. Matt?
I mean, it's less kicked, but like, I've had a lot of cricket balls shot towards my bollocks over the years. And you've
never played cricket.
Well, I mean, like with mates when I was younger. Like, but I just, there's a lot of times where footballs, cricket balls, shuttlecocks, doesn't matter. They all went in a dick area, didn't they? It's almost like a magnet sometimes.
Sean?
It was high school. Lads changing rooms. I can't even remember. It was just this one guy.
Room banter.
Yeah, mate. Oh, classic. Really good fun.
Getting ready for the big match.
It was just a guy who everyone thought was a bit weird. Just came in. It just kneed me in the balls, and everyone was just a bit like, "What the fuck did you do that for?"
So yeah, you definitely.
See, that's the difference. There was decent people around going, "What ddid you do that for?" Whereas there was a group of people laughing at me, like was on the floor with tears in my eyes. Yeah. I thought you loved me.
We were going to get married.
Is it still a no?
I would like a kiss.
I mean, I could forgive. Would you like a kiss?
Tom Rukaku, please. Whose house has the nicest interior decor? I assume he means us four.
Yeah,
right.
Not out of everyone in the world.
I'd say this. Not been to Sean's.
Yeah.
But so you could be the winner, Sean. But I almost guarantee, like, you got to go a long way to beat Matt's, right?
It's definitely going to be
Matt's nice.
Yeah, Matt's looks nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a lot nicer, but there's lots of stuff everywhere,
No, go on.
Like kids bring up a lot of like drawings, and there's just stuff everywhere.
Yeah, that's part of the charm.
I know. There's like you turn around, there's glitter everywhere.
That's the one thing you're complaining about. My kids did some fucking pictures.
I love them, but there's like you turn around.
Seriously,
me and Daddy.
After 9 years, after 9 years of them, the charm wears off.
Well, no, it's more the glitter. Like I'll turn around and Eddie's like elbowed off like a pot of glitter on the floor. I'm still finding it like years later. Or
I've just had to ban needles because Rachel got into sewing and everything. And she just leaves.
Oh God, yeah, that's
she
awful.
leaves. She kept on just leaving needles like all over the floor and stuff like that. I trod on one the other day. Absolutely furious. It's it's not good.
Yeah,
I live in a 2-bedroom masonette with 2 children. It's not a fucking fun place to be. We have not got enough room for anything. It's ridiculous, this place. There's just everywhere you look. I'm looking now at a box of toys. There's a box of toys here. There's a sit-on bike. There's a little push thing with some blocks. It's just ridiculous.
We need to tidy your stuff away, and then the kids have more room.
Bringing back the trumpet. It's just ridiculous in this flat.
Yeah. Do you know what I really hate about my house? Right, it's like an old, sort of 19. Sort of turn of the century house. I was going to say, I was going to give a decade, although I'm not going to do that. It's sort of 1890s to 1990s.
Olden times.
I heard your brain going, I'm sounding really intelligent here. Oh no, I fucked it.
No, just gone off the rails. Forget it. Long story short, the plastering, especially in our living room, is fucking diabolical. There's just like shitty lumps and stuff just all over the walls. And sort that out, it would look like a different house completely. But it basically,
you mean on the wall, not on the ceiling, right?
Yeah, just on the walls. Yeah.
But I mean, could you not? Would you not fancy doing some plastering yourself on the weekend?
No,
absolutely not.
Nope. No,
Yeah.
Don't even try
Yeah.
it. Don't even try it. That is a fucking skill.
Yeah.
When you see a good plasterer, you know that you should never attempt to do that shit on your own.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like everything nice we put in here just looks like a nice thing in a shit house. But yeah,
you'll get there though. This part of owning a place, isn't it? You can build it up.
Well,
we can't do fuck all to this place.
Of course, yeah. Well, because the damp coursing needs sorting out on the ground floor, and once when that happens, it'll all get replastered. So that's I'm more looking forward to the replastering than the getting rid of the damp. But yeah, house chat.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We have matured, haven't we? Christian Denning at Cracking Fox. Matt read out my question a few weeks ago on the Game in a Decade pod and dismissed it straight away. I was wondering what game you started to play that you thought was great, only for it to crush your dreams and leave you wondering why you ever liked him in the first place.
I can't think of any.
I mean, basically, what game started off amazing? I mean, I guess my first thought there is BioShock Infinite. Like that first bit felt amazing, and by the end, by the end, I mean, I still enjoyed it, but by the end, I was like, it's just lots of shooting again. I don't know. That first bit felt so like crazy and unique, and like, my God, what is this game? And it just sort of went into like a standard shooter for me after that.
Yeah, shame that.
I genuinely can't think of an answer.
No.
I can't think of a game that started off me going, "Oh my God, this is going to be amazing," and then it turns shit. What weird. I mean, because there's definitely got to have been a couple.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think any of us played it, but We Happy Few. Remember, it starts out with that intro that we saw at E3, and we're like, "Oh my God!" And then it's a survival game.
I did play it, and it was terrible. Yeah. But in the state, I play it when it first came out. You know, not the revised version.
I think they've worked on it quite a lot since, haven't they?
And I've heard it's still not very good. Okay. But I think that's slightly different because we'd already heard.
Yeah.
Like, we'd seen that stuff and we were proper pumped for it, but we'd already heard that it was a completely different game by the time that it actually come out in open access or whatever.
Right, yeah.
I think
FIFA's always like that for me. FIFA, it might be a good example, where you sit there and you go, wow, this actually feels like they've made it good again. This might actually be a good football game. And then, you take it online and within, 3 or 4 games, you're like, it's fucking dog shit.
See, I think
the latest one, and it is a fucking massive joke.
I think Halo
Awful
5
game.
was one like that, actually. Because I remember it having a pretty good opener, and then it kind of just got worse and worse as the game went on.
Shame. Big shame.
Yep. James, do you think we should end the pod soon?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's a shame because there's.
Why did you ask him? You know what the answer is.
There's a really good tweet here from Ben Simon about me explaining the law of Sekiro, but we do have to end it, so we'll come back to that another time. Ben,
James
definitely.
just died hearing that.
Right, okay, should we do the last one then?
I think we've sort of run out of time. I think we've done the last one there. We'll come back to Ben Simon's tweet another time. Should we do the social bit?
Okay, let's do the social bit.
James, are you streaming on Friday?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, you don't have to.
I know, but it's just...
How was your stream this week?
It was
James,
awful.
I missed it.
It was a total
struggle,
disaster.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Saw a bit of it. Yeah.
And he got.
Why was that?
Well, because he got to the end, and it wasn't clear whether I'd failed the mission or not. And then everyone was saying, "Oh, you failed it. You're going to have to start it again." But that's just because they were just trolling me. Because then I looked it up and I found out actually there are multiple endings to that, and I did get one of them. It's just not very
just
clear.
One where you failed.
Yeah, it's a bit of a failure, but like not a massive failure. But it's one of those. This is a game that I actually know. This game is the one that I started off at the beginning and really liked it, and have now begun to dislike quite intensely. It's but
I mean, that is the LA Noire experience. To be fair. But yeah, no, fucking hell, man. Because I was watching it and just you driving around in VR, I was in tears.
It was horrible.
Fuck me,
I know,
it was funny.
it's so funny to watch that stream. It's so funny to watch, and it's even better to watch it live because the just commenting and hearing the text come out is just so funny. So that's it. You're not. What are you streaming Friday then?
No, I'm doing that, aren't I? I'm still playing that.
But he was talking about one particular mission, and
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if this is his last stream on this, like if you're going to do these last 2 missions on your next stream, make sure you're there to see it Friday night because you will not have more fun. Actually, you probably would, but like if you're at home doing nothing, get on Twitch and watch James stream that, because it's fucking hilarious, like properly hilarious. Even better when you're there, knowing that you can write something in and it comes out in his ears.
It's well annoying that is.
It's worth it. I mean, basically the entire chat is trolling James. It's worth it for that alone.
It's funny. Hi, James.
Yeah, James, answer the question. I don't know what you're asking. Answer the question, James. James, do you agree? James, do you agree? Yes or no? James, do you agree? Yes or no, James?
You want to go back and listen to right at the end of his last stream as well, because he starts laughing at about a joke that wasn't made.
Oh my god!
No,
yeah,
it was something in the chat. Yeah.
Did you reread? Did you go back and watch that bit, James?
No, I didn't know.
You started laughing about a reference to Simon Miller, but there was no reference to Simon Miller.
There was.
No,
in the chat.
there was. So it was something. Someone said in the chat about up, and down, and someone was like, "Oh, right, Simon Miller," but no, everyone else was trying to work out what the hell, something's meant. But James, meanwhile, was dying of laughter.
Yeah,
that was it,
great.
wasn't it, James?
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Okay. Carry on with the social stuff.
And then I'm streaming Sekiro Sunday 8:30. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, and that means you get 1 free sub a month. We'd love it. Really appreciate it if you went up to our channel and gave us that free subscription. We're also on Patreon, of course, patreon.com/TCGS. You can get exclusive monthly podcasts, you get to watch videos early. And you can generally support what we're doing here. We'd love if you went over there and supported TCGS, and you can go to thecomputergameshow.com for everything else. And also Rezzed is coming at the end of March, so go to ejx.net if you want to get a ticket for the Saturday the 28th of March. It's when our live show will be.
Go and see the yo-yo off, the big yo-yo off.
Big yo-yo and breakdance, and Dave doing Keep Me Uppies as well.
Matt's trying to start something here. Bless him. Right, okay, we'll catch you next week. Have a wonderful week. Thanks for living it, and keep it TCGS. Does that sound good?
Mate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good. Keep it that. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.